don't know. Show the gut to the side. Look at that thing, man. Oh my God. Now that's how you start. Dude, that thing is so long. That's what we're looking for.
That thing.
That, to me, looks like a PB. What do you think? That's going over 5.
No, it's not 5, but holy crap.
Dude. Damn right. That's a 4. Dude. 4 pounder right off the bat. Here we go. Oh my God. Dude. Look at that. I have big hands. That thing's huge. Girthy. That's triple C thick.
Calling them today, boys.
All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back. Excuse me for a moment while I try and get a few things set up here. This is, we're using a new software tonight to make life easier. Look at that. Comments, got the banner up, we got the whole 9 yards. It's on. So, who we got in here? We got a lot of people in the chat already. Oh, who'd I miss? Backing all the way up. Matt, what's going on? Big Bass Dreams. Hey, buddy. Jason, Grat, Matt Burrows, Matt, again, David, Different Baits, Tim, Dave, Jason, what's going on, buddy? Ben Bradley, Nick, Addicted Mass Pass, Chris, Vance, Thomas. Holy crap. It's going to be a busy night. We got John and, oh, everything's moving. Chris, Matt, Sir Altitude, Brian. What's going on, buddy? Almost missed you because it shifted up. And then I almost said Swiggity Swooty because I saw Sir Altitude's comment. How's everybody doing tonight? Swiggity Swooty, coming for that booty. So we're using a new stream software tonight. Not really in place of what we always use. You know, we use OBS, Open Broadcast Software. I forget what it is. It's free. It's great. It's a great tool, but it's not really great for doing guest calls. So we're using StreamYard. Got it all set up in the last minute because that's how I always do my life, but we got it set up. Let me know if there's any issues with any of the audio. I will try and just, make adjustments on the fly, but I'm pretty sure we got everything. And you will notice a very, very slight delay from audio to video. I got it as close as I could get. That's the one downside to using this. I don't really have a whole lot of freedom with how I can configure everything. So otherwise, it's still really good. Hopefully the video quality is coming through right. I paid for like the premium version so we could get 1080p, but for some reason it just like wasn't really going well. And yeah, Big Bass Streams, that's why I did StreamYard, talking to I was like, well, we use Discord, but I can set up StreamYard. What do you want? He said, StreamYard. It's like, easy peasy, my guy. I can set that up. And I got to say, I like it. It's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive.
I mean, I don't know.
You just sat here.
I sat on the other side. I sat on my computer last night, and he sat on his, and we tried to get it to work. And
yeah, and for some reason, there was like just this phantom delay between the audio and video, like for literally no reason. Because I used this when I was a guest on the JCX fishing stream last week. We were talking about video editing and just like video recording on the boat, and it was perfect. And I set this up. We were on there for what, like an hour? I'm like, what is going on?
He sounded, what did I say? Something like
a chipmunk.
Like Mickey Mouse. Like, kicking the nuts or something. It was horrible.
Yeah, but got everything sorted, so it's all good, man. All right, everybody in the chat saying everything's good, barely noticeable with your connection. That's good. Hell yeah. All right, that makes me happy to know everything's working as intended. So we're going to get into it, kind of. Oliver is going to be on the show, no doubt about that. He is going to be running a little late. He was out guiding earlier today. He had a lot on his plate, so rough estimate for time frame is about 8:40-ish. So we're just going to, we got plenty to talk about in the time being. So let's cover a few of the important things ahead of time. First off, social media. For everybody that has been sharing the streams, especially this one, you guys are friggin' amazing. Like, the amount of shares we saw on this.
It was, I like saw it and I texted him. He didn't even see it. And I was like, dude, did you see how many people shared this shit?
It's
crazy.
It's awesome. And we can't thank you all enough. Like I always say it every time. I'm going to bring it up every friggin' show, man. we cannot grow without the help of the community, right? And you guys have been coming through bigger and better every single week. When we did it with Big Bass Dreams, we did it, sorry, we're already doing that now. When we did it with Beast Coast Fishing, we did it with Crazy Hick Bait Company, we did it with Sematis Baits. Like, you guys, like, it's just growing, and everything else is growing with it. Like, word of mouth is one of the strongest tools out there, and you guys are doing it. We cannot thank you enough. It's been friggin' phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been nonstop.
Yep.
It's
So,
insane.
with that, for those that haven't dropped a like on the stream yet, please do so. That is also very helpful. For those that end up watching this on YouTube at a later date, not during the actual live stream, drop a like, share it, leaving a comment on the video. Like, all those things help us continue to grow. So if you're willing to do that, please, we greatly appreciate it. Donations. So last week was insane. We had $220 donated. That puts us at, and you can't see it because I couldn't add that overlay in time, but that puts us at $965 out of our $1,200 goal towards that next upgrade for the boat, for all the new GoPros and everything. So we are well on our way. There's several different ways to do it. If you want to donate directly through YouTube, pending you have your account set up as such, you can do that. Go right for it. If you want to do it through PayPal or Venmo, there's a link to both of those down in the video description below. Whatever is easier for you, go for it. Any amount that you guys send to us is helpful. It doesn't matter what it is. $100, $100, $1,000 if you're feeling kind of cheeky, whatever. I'm not gonna say no.
Or glides. You can always
Or
donate
glides.
if
Yeah,
you want.
send us some sexy baits. I won't say no to that. Hey, we got a glide right there. Good old bullshed glide, bull glide.
I want to try that.
Don't touch it.
Okay.
So again, for those that are just jumping into the stream, Oliver's not here yet. He will be on somewhere in about the next, we'll say, half an hour-ish. And we'll get him on here. And right there, Ben Bradley with the $10 donation. Thank you very much, Ben. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
You know what? I just realized. Because we're streaming through StreamYard, we're looking at the chat there. If anybody donates in the stream, I might not see it.
I'll look.
I can, well, you know what I can do?
I'll just do this.
Oh, no. Don't play that. Silly goose. It's okay. I swear to God, I'm not breaking anything. We'll get it figured out. Drew, you got your Sematis Baits in early this week. Getting stocked up, bud. That's awesome, man. Happy to hear it. You won't see it. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, buddy. So maybe what I'll have to do is that's okay. I've got multiple tabs on this. I can bounce back and forth, and it shouldn't mess with the stream, and I can keep checking back. Aside from that, what else did we want to cover? There's something else. There's something else really important. Oh, one other thing I really want to bring up. For those that are subscribed, if you haven't turned on notifications yet for like all posts on the channel, go for it. We greatly appreciate it. Oh, damn, it's Mike Zampese. What's going on, buddy?
Hi.
It just, it makes it easier so you guys don't miss anything. Like, every friggin' social media network algorithm works differently, but with that one exception, it never pushes everything to the front of your feed all the time for everybody that is subscribed to you or follows you, the whole 9 yards. So turning on notifications for any of our social media, but especially YouTube, would be greatly appreciated. Let's talk about sponsors real quick. A couple of shout outs.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Ben's Tackle Shack. They had a great show at the New England Fishing Expo, not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Yeah.
Ben over there is doing a phenomenal job. They had quite the spread at the show, and they've been huge supporters of us. So I want to take a moment to say thank you very much to those guys for doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
We're doing some fun stuff with Beast Coast. If you guys saw some of the footage of the new baits, the Chatter Shad, the new Flippin' Delight.
Yeah.
Legit.
That's like real nice.
Yeah.
I'm real excited about that thing.
Those are going to be amazing. Oh, look at that. We're already getting texts for questions to ask Oliver when he does get on.
Something that you're not ice fishing anymore?
One
Been
last
busy.
one. FXR. FXR has been great for us. We got all of our, pretty much all of our like light duty summer gear. We've got all of our heavy duty, like my whole ice float suit I got from them. We got all our rain gear, the whole 9 yards.
We got our jerseys.
Yep, we got our jerseys from them. We got to get new ones made for this year. So we get a few more sponsorships. Ooh, on that note, literally 10 minutes before this started,
Oh, yeah.
2 new big contracts came in for us this year, which very excited. So we are re-signing with Lose. So we're back on with Lose again for 2022. And we signed with Strike King for the year, which is friggin' amazing to be able to get them in there and have that whole catalog of hard baits.
You know how
Literally,
many trailers I'm gonna have?
right. I mean, between Beast Coast and striking, that's pretty much 90% of all my soft plastics. They cover almost everything I need to do.
Right.
A lot of my crankbaits, I like striking. So I used to do a ton of cranking. I kind of fell away from it, getting back into it. I just have a ton of striking stuff, especially my lipless. I use quite a bit of their jerk baits. Like it's a good thing. This is going to be a really good year.
No, this year is gonna be. I'm excited. I can feel some big fish coming in this year.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Kyle Slaunch Beast Crew did ask, what's up with Drew not ice fishing anymore?
What do you mean? I'm not ice fishing. I just haven't been out. I've been busy.
Very busy. Well, we were supposed to go out this past weekend, so there's your fishing weekend fishing report. We didn't go.
We were supposed to, but we didn't.
No, there's no other way to put it. Bad things happen at work. I still have my job. Unfortunately, there was a layoff. A lot of people lost their jobs, so it is what it is. It's the nature of the business. There's a lot of shifting around going on. So I spent the weekend working instead of fishing so I can help get the company caught up. I've been busting my butt and making the sacrifices I need to do to make sure that, we are successful as a team, that I am also very successful in the company, and, working on other things to make sure that my future is secure. So that's it. They didn't get to go ice fishing because of that. We had a lot going on. So, and then aside from that, I think you probably just slept, right? That's the usual thing.
I slept in for a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a long night the night before.
Same as the expo weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, buddy. So the only other thing that we can quick talk about. Oh, what's this? Have a great show. Oh, thank you, Dan. Go Fish Dan. Dan Kenny, owner of all the expos. Slaunch, excuse. Buddy, I got to send you a text or I'll give you a call and let you know what the hell's going on. It's something. Two other things I want to talk about. Weekend fishing plans this weekend. I want to know who else is going up to the ice fishing derby up on Winnie, or with all this beautiful weather we have finally now in New England, who's getting out in open water?
I think we should.
I would love to. If the snow could not
But
come on Sunday,
the
I'm
snow.
taking the bass boat out. Frig the ice. I'll take my kids out on the ice, maybe locally, if we can find some safe stuff Saturday, because I know they're chomping at the bit to go. But if I can get out there in the boat this weekend, that's my plan.
RGs?
That would be great. That would be really great. That would be the earliest we've ever been out. And even if we can only get out that once for the next 3 weeks, it's still better than nothing. We get a couple of options. I can tell you there's a website that I have that I'm sure like anybody who does any searching, you can find it. Satellite imagery, updated every single day. It's like a screenshot of like the whole Northeast, like the whole like eastern seaboard from the Northeast down to Florida, and then it's like there's like 5 or 6 segments of the country where it does it. As long as you don't have a cloudy day, you can see a live satellite image while still shot in pretty good clarity, right? And from there you can tweak the settings, like you can set it to false color mode so it makes ice show up like this crazy bright, like almost electric, like blue. And then open water, as just straight black. So it's really easy to find, especially when we're looking down in Cam. I'll send you the link later. When you look down, like in the Cape Cod area, Massachusetts, where I would typically go this time of the year, you can see all that stuff and be like, now I don't have to drive down there and make the gamble. I just go on satellite and be like, yeah, there's open water. We're going.
Yeah.
And you can time it too. And I use that when I'm looking at lakes in the North Country of New Hampshire. Those bigger lakes that take a long time to melt out.
Yeah, until you get there, the lake's not frozen, but the launch still is.
Right, yeah.
And then you got to spend 45 minutes clearing the launch and go into the hardware store and getting bags of sand.
Right. I can tell you, I'll put the link up later when I get a chance, but it's Modis, MODIS. If you search for that, there's somewhere on the website that you can then go to like today's satellite imagery or something like that. It defaults to, I don't know, I forget. It's like 2,000, 1,500, and 250 for like view range. So 250 is like super zoomed in. If you use it on your browser, like on your computer, there's a little trick. You hit control and your scroll wheel that zooms your browser page in and out. Like it works for everything. Like Microsoft Word, Excel, like if you're looking at PDFs, like it doesn't matter. Neat little shortcut for PC users if you didn't know about that. So you do all that, right? You go to the 250 distance range, and then on your browser, you just zoom right in using that control mouse wheel trick. And you can get really close and see.
Where is this?
I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you after. It's awesome. It's a great tool if you guys find it. Like, it really helps knowing, like, okay, where is there really open water? And it takes a lot of the whole guessing game out of things. And then the other thing we want to talk about, New Hampshire Outdoor Expo coming up next month.
We're gonna be there. Obviously, we literally live not even 5 minutes from it, so
Right in our hometown
we
of
will be
Milford.
there. I'll still be there late Saturday because I still gotta work, and then I'll be there all Sunday. I might swing in Friday. No, what time does it end Friday?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
7.
I know it's March 11th through the 13th at the Hampshire Dome in Milford, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
There's already quite a few vendors that are lined up. We're trying to get a few more lined up as well. I reached out to almost all my sponsors at this point. Waiting to hear back from 2. So hopefully be like a really, really good show as far as the number of various ones we can get there. Jason said call out. It'd be kind of weird when his business is like an eighth of a mile from the Hampshire Dome.
I could literally spit on it. If I get a good loogie, I could spit on it.
Man, Mike and Joe are just going at it now.
Are they?
Oh yeah, they're all about
What's
it.
the matter?
So the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo, we'll be there. Well, at least I will be there all weekend. I'm going to take the Friday off. The plan is, I'm talking with Dan, the owner. I would like to be able to do one seminar all 3 days. If I'm lucky, if there's still room in the schedule, I'm going to try and do multiple seminars. There is a stage that they have set up, with a screen and projector. I can hook up to it and I can do stuff. One of the things that we're going to talk about is ice out bass fishing success. Like, that's something that we've been like really hammering on, right? Trying to get a lot better with that. And I think we're pretty good at it now. We got it. Yeah. Like, immediately after ice out, we just start catching fish.
Yeah.
We put in the time. We've put in the time. We know, like,
It's different every year, but it's the same.
Yeah. We end up figuring it
It's
out
the
pretty
same,
quick.
different.
Same, but different.
But different. I'm different.
Same, but different. So I that's one of the topics I want to cover. If there's more time, then I'm going to try and cover an additional topic that is yet to be determined. But that's definitely the one topic that I'm going to cover. I'm going to try and do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday if schedules allow for it. So that way, because I know not everybody comes to all 3 days of the show. And it's a good topic. There's a lot that I can speak to on that. I'll be there solo myself Friday. Andrew, depending on what time he gets out on Saturday, can probably join me with it. And then Sunday will be the 2 of us.
I'll be over there for probably 3:30.
Yeah, for the last couple hours. So maybe we can schedule it with Dan that we can get in on that last one. Get working on your seminar. Damn right, Dan. See,
there he is.
Dan's there. He knows what's up. And then beyond that, we're also doing the flipping competition. This time it's going to be planned well ahead of schedule. There was a lot of things that kind of went around that were mostly uncontrollable and very last minute for the New England Expo, plus the snowstorm throwing a wrench and everything. Hey.
Sorry.
So we didn't really get to do it the way that we really wanted to for the New England Fishing Expo. But for the New Hampshire Expo, I'm involved with it from the get-go, so I'm going to be able to get this thing going on well in advance. I'm going to make it so that it is for people that come to visit only, guests of the show, no vendor involvement. That way, we can really give everybody a chance. Because like all the vendors, it was the same thing at the New England Fishing Expo, right? A lot of those guys are really good anyway. But then they were sitting there and they were just kind of flipping away, especially all day Saturday, second half of Saturday, with the storm really ramping up. There wasn't that many people at the tail end of the day. So I brought out the boards and we just all had fun with it. And then scheduling got really messed up on Sunday because, people trying to make up seminars and the whole 9 yards. So we did have it, and it was still fun, but it was just all vendors at that point. So for the New Hampshire one, we're going to play it well out. All right? We're going to make it so that there is a prize for the top score over the whole weekend. We'll have this set up so that anybody at any point that comes in during opening hours can get over there, have their shot at it. We'll keep track of the scores, and there will be a separate prize pack. That way, if anybody can't be there for the exact tournament, we got you. And that'll be good. And it'll be a great thing. We're working directly with Wicked Custom Rods on this. He's going to have a nice little prize pack for that person for the end of it. And then probably pitch in something as well for the actual competition itself. Back here at the New England Fishing Expo, we actually had, what did we have, like 20 vendors kick in prizes?
Yeah, we just kind of walked around and be like, hey, you want to throw in for a prize?
Yeah.
And people were throwing in like hard baits and stuff.
Dude, it was like,
what?
I think it was probably like little over $100
Easily.
of free tackle that we gave away to the winner, which is pretty awesome. And I think we can do that, if not better, for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a good time at the New Hampshire Expo when we get to it at that point. And again, it's in the middle of it. Oh, what is this? Mike Zampese.
Zampese.
I like to say his last name different every time because it's just, I like it. It's unique.
Zampese?
Zampese. Mike with the $50 donation. Dude, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it, buddy. Oh,
Thanks, dog.
We gotta, sorry, I just gotta keep track of this. 10 and 50.
Let's do it.
Because I always forget. Oh my God, I forgot to hit the thing. Okay. We have this fancy controller here for all of our audio, and every stream that we do, I forget to hit the damn record button. There's one time I remember to do it.
Yeah, right now.
So we got it. Dan, yes, we will absolutely have a flyer. I already got one mostly done. I'd like to be able to make a few more changes to it and see if I can get like another title sponsor, Ben's Tackle Shack, for like just, you know, the overall representation of it and the you know, throw in a couple of goodies for it as well for the winners. And we're going to try and make this a thing. So that way people that come in there, they're like, hell yeah, I got something to really look forward to. And aside from the rest of the show, it's just a nice thing to do on the side too. And it's fun. You guys can bring your own rods. We will have some on hand for those that aren't wanting to or willing to bring in their stuff. We got you guys covered. At this point, there we go. Jason from Crazy Hickbait Company. Mike pitching something as well. See what you did there. Damn right. Crazy Hickbait Company is going to pitch in as well. Dude, he makes some phenomenal baits. If you guys missed that stream, go back and watch it. We covered a lot of stuff.
His ice, if you're still going ice fishing, his ice fishing little trailer duber thing, whatever I forget what he calls them.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Little ice fishing trailers. Those things are awesome. They're sick.
Yeah, they are.
They work really well.
Mike, I want you to come to the show. Hey, you know what? Big Bass Dreams could set up a booth at the show. I'm just saying. I know the guy to put you in touch with. You could show up there, put on a booth, and then, you know, during the day we do the competition, you could just not be working the booth, and you could be... I'm kidding. You can't do that. But the thing is, too, like, during the day, we can have one during between, like, all of the vendors as well, you know, kind of like a pro-am version, if you will. That'd be pretty sick.
That'd be cool.
Mike, I would like for you to come
Is
up.
Doug going?
I would think so.
Good luck.
Excuse you. I want you to come up. I had the second highest score they had ever recorded in all these tournaments on Saturday. It's pretty dope.
Still got beat by Doug.
I did get beat by Doug. You know what? I still had a good day. Okay.
For the third year in a row.
Yeah, Doug's a hammer. He barely beat me on that. He beat me by one friggin' point.
He's only good at flipping, though.
Yeah. Shots fired. Ball tail grub. There it is. Thank you, Jason. Alec might make the trip for that expo on Sunday. I'm still not in the doghouse. My spending spree at Boxborough.
Yeah, dude, you spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I should bring that bait down. Show it off. I should.
Where? Right now?
Yeah.
What is it? Nah, fuck it.
Listen, I'm excited that I got my hands on one finally, all right? Don't be jealous. Benz is done. Oh, down with... Wait, what? Benz is done when to give a rod reel to winner. Wait, what? Dan, did you just say Ben's going to give a rod and reel to a winner?
That's pretty sweet.
That would be insane. That would be insane. It's like 5 hours. Yeah, Mike, all right. So, okay, we'll see you here, bud. Don't worry, I got a couple places we gonna hang out after hours all right here in town. Makes it easy. Oh, that's the only downside to Milford. It's not really... Oh, yeah.
You can come over and hang out with me if you want.
Damien knows what I got. All right, I'll go get it. I'll go get it in 1 second. Vance, it's only 4.5 now, 5 hours. It's really not that bad of a drive. My dad and I made it down to New Jersey in a snowstorm towing a bass boat in like 5.5 hours. So, Mike, you can probably make it here in 4.
I got down there in 3.5 once.
Yeah, that's because you're driving like 2 a.m. and doing 100 the whole way.
I was.
In the friggin' lime green skittle car.
It was. It made that noise, too.
The whole way. Down to give rod and reel the winner. Let's plug it. Holy crap, Dan, that's amazing. All right, people, you heard it here first then. For the flipping competition, there's someone trying... Oh, you're the best. My wife is listening to the show. She brought it down. I didn't have to leave. Thank you.
I want to see it. I didn't see it.
No.
Keep it down.
It's mine.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Okay. So yeah, for the flipping competition, now there's gonna be a rod and reel in the prize pack. I legitimately think that there will probably be over with the rod and reel combo, now we're probably talking upwards of $300 in total value prize for this. And we'll work out something for the overall weekend winner as well. But then what we did at this past show was we actually split up the prize pack. Like 2/3 of it went to the winner, and then the second, 1/3 of the prize pack went to the winner with a little trophy, and then the other 2/3 of the stuff went to second place. Mm-hmm. So making it just to the head-to-head final doesn't matter. I mean, if you win, obviously you're gonna get the good, like the best stuff. But if you come in second, you're still going away with a good prize pack.
Yeah,
so you cannot go wrong. Yeah, it's totally worth your while to go do this. Oh, Jason, there you go. I actually have a kit made for the prize pack. Hell yeah. And then, yeah, there you go. Slaunch Beast Crew. That answers your question. Joe, is it a Piz? Maybe.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's pretty nice.
Shallow crank crappie. I have been dying forever to get my hands on a Piz.
And now you're going to throw the shit out of it.
I am going to throw the shit out of this thing. By the end of the year, you're not going to see half the paint because of all the friggin'
Docks.
hook rash and rocks and wood and everything. I'm going to beat the piss out of this thing against. It's going to be awesome. At this point, I think you guys all know us, right? No, Tyler, I'm not trading a Pats. A Pats would be pretty dope, but no. That's my Piz. I don't throw a ton of big baits, right? It's like, I love it. But I'm still very much a traditional angler, so I'm very, very selective at this point for what it is that I want to add to my collection. Because I sold 4 baits at the end of last year because I just wasn't throwing them. So I want to just keep it like to a couple of things for like top water. Actually getting a bait very soon from New Hampshire company, which is I'm super psyched about, mostly because it's a phenomenal bait and they're New Hampshire based, so that's always good. But now I'm trying to I'm being really hyper selective about what I throw in for like my shallow diving baits, my kind of mid tier. I've got a couple that are like really deep divers. I've only got a couple of glides. I got that bullshit up there, bull glide. And
don't have many.
No, but you got the right ones.
Yeah, the ones that catch me fish.
Exactly. You have all the right ones. I know. This is. I can tell you I'm gonna be really careful while I throw this too. Because I'm I tell you what, I'm not throwing this in Vermont because there's too many pike up there, and I am not willing to risk playing that game. Not at all.
No, hell no.
Alec, I'll trade you my future firstborn for that bait. Just think about it. I'll get in touch with Paul. I'll be like, hey, so I lost the bait, but I have a child. Can I barter for another bait? Vance.
Waffling kids.
Terrible. Vance,
God.
Oliver will be on around 8:40-ish is what I was told. He was out. He had a really busy day today, so we're just shooting the shit and killing time. I debated delaying the stream until 8:30, so there'd be a lot less time between now and then, but I like to stay consistent with the timing that we do it. It's less disruptive than, say, a 40-minute wait for a guest to be on, and there's plenty for us still to talk about, so it's not like it's time wasted.
All right.
What else did we miss? Damien, you sold a Hinkle for a Piz. Those Hinkles are good, too.
What's a Hinkle?
Hinkle, it's Glide. It's good. First loser, too. Slaunch Beast, first loser.
First loser.
We have a ribbon for the first loser in the flipping competition, the third place, right? Oh, that'd be great. Joe, got to get a tater hog at the class guest. Well, there you go. Damien, Izor line, XXX, 25 pound. I like 20 pound. I don't like 25 pound. I tried throwing it.
I'm going to start going my glides on 17.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you've seen the things I've done to
Unless
heavy
I'm
baits.
throwing it up into stuff. I'll be throwing it on 20, but
You'll still be fine. 17?
I want to know that I can get it out.
All right, fair enough. You can go to 20. Brendan, thank God someone who actually fishing got their hands on one. Yeah, dude, Mike, if he said 15 minutes, he means 30. Hope not. That I have a hard time with that whole scene. There's one of the things I dislike the most about the swim bait scene is that whole flipping aspect. That's why the prices are so out of range or so outrageous. It's because so many people are just flipping them, right? So try and price a lot of these guys out. It doesn't matter because now people are willing to pay even more in raffles. It's just I'm not a fan of it. You know, it's like the whole craft beer scene too, right? Like when Treehouse up here in the Northeast was like really blowing up. Before they moved facilities, it was a 2.5 hour wait to get 4 cans of beer, which is insane.
Yeah, we did because we drove from the St. Lawrence.
Yeah, and we stopped
down to fucking Treehouse and then came back up to home.
But what was the same drive time? Because we could have gone back roads up and over, the Green Mountains there in Vermont, or swung down and just taken the highway the whole way back. It was literally the same drive time. I'm like, oh, dude, screw this. Let's stop at Treehouse at the new location, in Charlton.
It felt weird coming from the St. Lawrence River and coming back up through
I
Massachusetts.
know.
I was like, I don't know if I like this.
New England roads are weird, man. Especially as the closer you get up our way.
Yeah.
But like these guys would wait in line forever, and they'd sell these freaking beers for like $120 for a 4-pack down to people in DC. It was nuts. And the swim bait community is no different. It's just a bunch of people trying to take advantage of the situation.
Get a
It
Roman
sucks.
maid? Woof.
Throw my Roman maid negotiator in 17. There you go.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'll use 17. If you're throwing a Roman maid on 17, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll throw a freaking $30 glide on 17 all day.
Matt said those trashy bass swim baits are crazy nice. Got a swimming crappie last week. Very good clear coat on his baits. Nice. John did ask, do you use any of the spool speed stuff? Their booth was pretty awesome. Yeah, I have.
Dude, I kind of want to.
I think I do.
Yeah, you went and you got some of them. Didn't you? I think.
I can't remember off the top of my head. And I have my rod rack right there.
talking to the dude.
I was. Wait, the bearings?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't even know where I put those.
That's not good because those are really nice.
I think they're in the box with all my hats. Yeah, no, I bought a bunch of those ceramic bearings. I'm going to tune up my reels. It's going to be great. Damien, I throw all my Megabass 185s on 15-pound Brazics.
Okay. That's all I throw anything on is 15-pound.
Yeah.
Besides the swim bait.
And Joe said he uses 17 of Brazics. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Bubba Bass. S-Waver for the win. That's why I got started with Unglides. S-Wavers. Love those things.
I don't really like it.
Okay, we'll get out. I don't like you. And then, Matt, you're absolutely right. It has to do with low quantity and high demand. Yeah, it definitely does.
What's the biggest S-Waver they make?
I think I have it. I think it's not quite like a Depths 250. It's one size down from that. I forget the size. It's still a pretty big bait.
Like a 200 or 220?
I think it's a 220. Someone in the chat will be able to correct me.
So it's like that big.
Yeah, actually, just
okay.
about.
Maybe I like them then. If I can get one that big.
Saunch Beast Crew. I heard dudes flipped baits for $2,000 more than they pay at the expo. Yeah, that was kind of the downfall. There was one dude that got in there, and apparently, half an hour after he got the bait, had pictures of it in the hotel, like in the bathroom on the countertop, taking pictures of the bait and had it up in a raffle for $2,000 for a $200-something bait. It's insane. Yeah, I disagree with that whole scene. I don't get it.
COD rat?
Wait. Oh, hang on. I'm not that far yet.
Oh.
Dan, if you go to Treehouse again and don't reach out, lol, I'm 11 minutes away. All right, buddy. I'll make sure I come down that way. Oh, I'm on keto now, so I'm not drinking beer probably for the next 3 or 4 months until I get to my goal weight.
69.
Hey! And again, for everybody that's showing up now, thank you very much for coming in to watch. Greatly appreciate it. Oliver will be on relatively shortly. He said about 8:40-ish, so hang tight. He is coming. For everybody that missed the whole intro thing, if you guys haven't dropped a like on the stream yet, please do so. Greatly appreciate it. It helps us more than you know. Grat, have you used the OD rat? Isn't that what? Oh, God, dude, my brain's not there. Swimbait Scrutiny, the juice, is a collaboration with the OD rat.
Pretty sure Nate's got one too.
I think it's. Oh, dude, it's literally right there, right beside you. Careful.
This is the juice, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the OD rat, and it's a collab with them.
A little different.
You mean
but
this
I think
dude?
It's about the same.
I was so excited to get this when Swimbait Scrutiny, another New Hampshire-based guys, dropped this.
The coolest thing about it is the paint.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I was in on the drop when they released them on the website, and I hit checkout maybe 40 seconds after they dropped, and I still didn't get one in time. Crazy. Who else in the chat? David, New England Bass Addict. 20-pound Tatsu for all my swims. Worth every penny. That's what I did this year. I bought everything on sale from, I forget what the hell I bought on my line. There was a sale. I buy line every year, and the sale price on Tatsu ended up being cheaper than the Abrasics I normally get. So I just went all Tatsu this year. Forget it. Love that line. Matt, anything under 5 ounces, I'm using 20-pound copolymer for crankdown or wakes, or 24-pound dragon from Megabass for glides and abrasics. But 24-pound from Megabass, the same as 20. Oh, there you go. Damien sold us. Yeah. Brendan, what's a decent cheap wake for 50 or less?
The friggin' the rat.
Yeah, but well, I guess like one of the conversations I had was with Brian at the expo, and he was working for Bullshad for the whole weekend. We got talking about that, right? Like rats and wakes and glides and crankdowns, and he was like, rats are a whole different thing when I was talking about wakes, because I tried to say they were the same thing, and he was like, no, they're really actually different. But he's also like in the highest tier of like living that life and really understands the differences to that. So if anybody disagrees with that, this guy's literally lived this thing for years. So if he sees a distinction, I trust his judgment and opinion and outlook, sorry. There's a difference. So, but if you're looking for something like that, Andrew's absolutely right. Spro BBZ rat.
Yeah, that little thing
Slays.
Oh man.
It's insane.
I've caught so many big fish on that. And it's so much fun to use. It's so easy. Just don't throw it into a tree or you might lose it. Or over a waterfall. Have to climb down in the middle of the night to grab it.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Don't throw it over the... Shit.
Damien said it's not $50, but the Golden Swim Baits Gremlin is fire if you can get your hands on one. How much does it go for, Damien? And then Matt, if you're gonna talk about rats, holy crap, that jumped. You need an Elude or a sneaky wood rat. I would love to get my hands on an Elude too. Like I kind of want to like fill out the whole shebang with like a bait from multiple different companies, and that would make me really happy. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I'm limited in what I really want to do. I got my crown jewel.
I'm going to do what I did last year.
Show this off again.
But I'm going to I want a nice, big, fat glide.
That's a big bait.
And work it a lot this year. I am going to use a lot of bigger baits this year. But I'm definitely still going to use a lot of big jigs.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, jigs.
And I got a couple other things that I want to try this year. Well, not try, but use more.
Yeah, we got to get her.
Did a lot of it last year, but
we got to get our hands on more soft body swim baits too, because that really suits our fishing style. And I just realized we missed out on that working class citizen drop. Working class zero citizen in that sexy color. Damn it.
Whatever.
Sorry. He'll do it again. But listen, this is great. It's got a good knock to it. I'm like really happy with that. So that's the Piz. This is the rat.
Oh, that thing sounds funny when it's coming through the water.
Two totally different pitches. It's crazy. Love it. Back it up, back it in. Where did I miss it? Damien, I think blanks are like 65, painted was 80 to 90. That's not bad for a good quality bait like that. That's actually really good. And then Team Beefmaster, my buddy Steve, big bass, eat the rat. I fished with him on a lake. He has been fishing almost his whole life down in Massachusetts a couple years ago.
That he caught that
5 pound 15, and I almost knocked it off the net. It was one of the first and only times that I almost screwed up with the net. And I literally pulled the fish in because one of the treble hooks got stuck to my net and the fish was hanging from it. I just swung it in before anything else bad went out. But he looks at me, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I made it work." It was ugly as sin, but the fish is in the boat. And then, dude, he missed a donkey later in the day, too. Oh, my God, that swirl that fish left was insane.
I want to go fishing now.
Yeah. Depths makes a great wake from Joe. That's good to know. Justin, it's a zombie gerbil. Ben, I need a bait from Colby over at Live Free or Die Swim Baits. That's who it's going to be good. He makes some incredible baits.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yep. The paint on was great. Everybody I've talked to that has them has all been like astounded with how damn good these baits are. But they've put in their time. It's not like they were just like made a bait and they're like, "Hey, look, we made a bait. $200, please. Here's your bait." It's not what the price is. They put in their time. They put in a lot of time.
They were waiting a while.
Yep. These guys did it right. Damon, if you want a Citizens, I'll send you all a pack. Depends on the color. But yes, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
And then Dan also brought up another good point. Northeast Swim Bait Expo in April down in Massachusetts again as well. There's going to be a lot of big names at that one, both local and regional and national. Like, that's going to be a great show if you guys are looking to get some good baits. Wow, dude, I'm having a hard time keeping up with chat. 316 Rising Sun Weedless. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Snapped off a 4-pound one.
once. Ain't never messed up a job since then.
I messed up a pretty bad one during a tournament, our 2-day tournament, but it wasn't 100% my fault.
It wasn't even remotely. Don't talk to me about Pats. I'll get to that in a minute. And I mean that in a really good way, but
anyway. I think that fish might have been 5 pounds. That smallie. And it jumped out. The net had broken, like
3 hours before that. No,
Yeah.
like 5 hours before that. That was kind of later in the day.
yeah. And it just literally the head of the net. We're like, oh, we'll be able to get it.
And it just didn't get close enough to the boat.
It came straight out of the water right in front of me. I was like, and it
No,
just
dude,
on the other side of it.
scooch back for a little bit. If this is the gunnel of the boat, he was like, like he,
Oh yeah,
dude,
you're
he
right.
tried.
I was up over the freaking boat.
He was hanging out of the boat trying to get that thing, and it came unpinned. Yeah. I knew it was a heavy 4. And then he waited until like on the drive home. He's like, "Did you get a good look at the fish?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "Pretty sure it's your PB. I didn't want to tell you earlier."
It was big. I think it was over 5.
But the plus side, in years past, that would have ruined me for the day. And I didn't let that shit slow me down. Nothing. I was just like, all right, well, that sucks, but
Well,
it's all good. We got time.
you would drop down and put your rod down to do something else, and you came back and you lifted it up. You're like, "Oh, dude!"
Yeah, that's what it was. That's right. It was just, I left it out there. I was doing something in the boat, picked my rod back up, and that's why I lost it. I didn't get a good hook set on it because I started reeling and it started coming with me. And I did try to set it, but it just.
Oh
is
yeah,
what it is.
Sean did catch that tree. That was the tree that we were flipping at for a little while. He was like,
That was insane. But yeah, so it was like, all right, not a problem. Obviously, we can't be doing that again. So I went down. I had electrical tape and I had a fresh spool of 50-pound braid.
"Oh, we."
I just went around, like I just overlapped the net like head and the handle of my
Shaft.
yeah. It's the Ego
wrapped
S2
it.
slider, and like the metal portion actually threads into the net head. It's snapped. It's sheared off like right there, flush to the end of the plastic for the net head. So I just overlapped them, and I went over it probably like 100 to 200 times the braid because braid doesn't stretch, so good to go. But then I went over it because it's still gonna slide. I went over it like 3 or 4 times back and forth with electrical
Like
tape.
a whole roll of electrical tape, and it's still like that.
No, I fixed it.
Oh no, you did fix it.
We
but-
used it like that for the next like 2 months before I bought the replacement part. I was like, he was like, "You ever gonna fix that?" I'm like, "Don't need to. Things mint."
It handled it. It did it. It was weird because it was upside down, so we were like,
Oh,
"Shit,
yeah.
all right, there we go."
And then all right, so Big Bass Streams did mention I should get a Pats. Buddy, I have been trying.
He has been trying. How many
I
times, like nights, we spent out trying to get? Was it 3 or 4 fish limit? Is it biggest
best 3, big 3. I don't want to talk about too many details because it's like not supposed to talk about it too much, but I had an avenue to try and win it, right? 6 times. All 6 times I had that opportunity to potentially win a Pats. Or no joke, the 6 worst weekends of fishing I had all weekend. And it's not like I was razzled because like, oh sweet, if I have a good weekend, I can win a Pats. It was like literally everybody else doing it that same weekend was like, this was the worst weekend ever.
It was tough every time.
Yep. There was one weekend I was supposed to go to Champlain. And no, I did go to Champlain and I missed the sign up. And that was that day we killed it.
Oh yeah.
We had 19 pounds on our best 5 smallies. We had 20
yeah.
pounds on our best 5 largies. We had 21 on our best 5 combined.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good day.
That was a really
Oh,
good
over
day.
80 fish that day.
That was insane. South Jersey. I'm having an interview this weekend on Sunday with Edwin from Legal Dope Swim Baits. That is Matthew A. Lowell. It's a new channel I made. Oh, nice, man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Legal Dope makes some great baits, dude. Those are awesome. Okay, no, I didn't miss anything else in the chat. Pen Dog. Oh, hey, bud. This year's your year to win a Pats. I hope so. I mean, I'm still in there, so I got a chance.
If you get one.
Nice. Okay, just heard from Oliver. 4 minutes ago, he's almost to the house. He will log in ASAP. So he's actually pretty close on time. It's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I get one.
If you get one,
Shut up, Mike.
let me buy that off you.
What, that one? Oh, you just have it. I don't give a shit.
Fuck you. If you get a Pats.
If I get a Pats. I think I paid John $100 for that. And apparently it's like a $180 bait. But like we didn't know. And he was like, I don't care, man. Give me $100, call it good. Easy peasy. Works for me. I've thrown it like 3 times. Matt, you get the Pats rig. Those are awesome. And then, shut up, Mike. Don't lie to him about winning it. Oh, Damien. I've seen the magic of the Pats. Plenty of my New Jersey buddies slam fish in my face while skunked. Yeah, dude, I know a lot of guys that have a lot of those that they're legit, man. They're legit. Fight. Yeah, exactly. David C. I didn't talk about it. I didn't give the details, okay? I'm man of my word, an honor. Matt, I can't read that. Brendan, I was smart enough to spend just around $300 at the Beast Coast booth. Smart man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing now. I did have an opportunity to buy a Pats off a friend at the same price he paid for it. At the time, I think he said $450, and I was like, I got way too much stuff. I can't. I really wanted, because it was literally exactly what I wanted. It was a 5 to 6 foot diving Pats reg, and it was that yellow perch pattern, and I wanted it in the worst way, and I was like, I can't. It's too much money right now. I had too much other stuff going on.
I got a sweet deal of those Arashis for $35.
I don't want more glides. I'm done with glides. I've got.
You're gonna learn this year.
Dude, I hope so. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling a lot better about it. Coach Steve, what's up?
What's a Pats?
God, Derek. What's a Pats? Shut up, David. Stick to your Nico drop shot baits.
I will.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's what I caught my PB on. It wasn't drop shot, but yeah, it was Nico rig Senko. I have video footage. What did I say? 16 minutes and change from the moment I saw that fish till I finally freaking caught it. And I literally picked up every other rod I had in my boat, and I was retying baits. I was trying different baits on different techniques, and nothing. I finally looked down that one rod I hadn't touched. I'm like, all right, I'll pick up the Senko. And it was like 3 casts later, I had my PB at 7 pounds, 5 ounces. And I was torn between elation and like absolute just hilarity. I'm like, stupid fucking Senko. Gets him every time.
I haven't really used them that much unless we're like just wanting to catch fish. Just a bunch of fish.
Yeah, I mean, there's some days that's really all they care about. I like throwing them weedless, weightless. So weightless T-rig style. If I'm throwing them like through veggies. Although I do prefer a fluke over that. Because I can work it a little bit better. I can work it like just let it fall and kill itself. Or I can work it like through work it like a jerk bait, throw the veggies and stuff. A number of different ways you can fish that. And I really like that.
And T-rig.
Kyle, you are right. You will catch more 6+ on a jig and T-rig on that jointed broomstick. I'm not going to call it. It's not really a jointed broomstick. These aren't broomsticks. The other ones I want.
I'm not going to comment. I already got yelled at for that.
I know, yeah. They don't take kindly to that. John did ask, what's the biggest bass anyone's caught on a Pats in here? That's actually a really good question. I would love to hear the answer to that.
Probably really big. Is my guess.
You know what?
I'm guessing
I forgot.
Over 8.
What did Eric catch his bass on? That 9-pounder last year in New Hampshire. 9-pound, 2-ounce largemouth out of New Hampshire last year.
I don't remember.
I won't even tell you the rest of the region. I'm just going to tell you it's in the state.
I don't know what you got it on.
I bet if I go back and look, I can find it. I'm not going to do it right now because that'll be way too distracting. Pat's fat mini lol finesse. Yeah. Finesse on the big bait world.
How small are they?
I forget. They're good size. Nice little compact thing. David, any bass addict. 6 pounds, 5 ounces, my best on the Pat so far. Josh Penny, what did he say?
There's 9 on a Piz.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Damn.
Pen Dog, 6 pounds even for you. That's awesome.
You can have your 6 or 7 pound smallmouth as long as I can have a 9-pound largie.
I'll take that. I will take that, sir. I agree to that. Okay. Piz Little Creep, pretty sure, is what Eric caught that on. Dude, 9-pound, 2-ounce largemouth. That's absolute insanity. Who the hell's blowing me up? Stop it, people. I'm trying to
I caught my 9-pounder on. Yeah, what's that?
Live bait.
Was it? Didn't he tell us?
I forget what it was.
Was it
I
on
just
Shiners?
being cheeky.
Big giant shiners down in Florida.
Mass big base, little creep. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Dude, I was watching some dude do that. He was taking like these like 9-inch shiner, 9-inch shiners,
Yeah.
and throwing them out live. Just
Really?
like ice fishing with a fishing pole. And like, dude, he was catching like 9, 10, 12 pound fucking largies out of this tiny little pond.
Good Lord.
It was insane.
That is insane. Hang on, I just missed it. Back it up. Oh, any bass addict. Pretty certain he has an 8 on a Pats though. I'll have to ask me. That's insane. That's insane. Those are some big ass fish. Oh yes, Jason, 9-pounder, 6-inch curly tail New Hampshire bass, year 2000. That's insane. That's awesome, man.
Curly tail. Jesus.
Damn it, there was something else I was gonna say, and I totally spaced it because I was trying to look at the chat. Oh, well, you know how I can't remember his name, but the guy that has the tie, not technically, has the biggest largemouth bass in history, the world record, but he's tied for it because per IGFA records.
What, Dottie?
No, well, no, that was the unofficial record at 25 pounds. But the current record is 22 pounds 4 ounces, and then is 1B, and then 1A is Manitoba. I forget his name. Was it 22 pounds 4 point something ounces? Yeah. But per IGFA records for that class of fish and everything, you have to be you have to beat the previous record by at least 2 ounces, which is kind of weird. But yeah, but I get it. But that's how. Big bass, I'll get to that. Yeah, the 2 ounce rule. So that's what this guy was doing. He was going out there, like he knew the fish was in the area. I'm pretty sure I remember the article where he said he saw it. And he was going out there and he was throwing out live bait. Like whatever their main forage was out there, he'd just throw out like a ton of them. Like some half dead, some alive, some frozen. And then he would like, he would rev his motor like 10 times in neutral and then shut it off.
So
and then slap the water like 20 times or something like that. But it was... whatever the number of combinations was,
when to come to feed.
He was conditioning those bass to come up and feed in that area. And I don't know how long he was doing with it. And then he threw that one of those fish just on a big hook. And that bass came up and swallowed it. Wildest shit I've ever heard.
Get it on video.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, I don't know if he did.
22.5.
All right, what do we got here? Big Bass Dreams. So guys, totally shout out Mike and Joe's show tomorrow, 9 p.m. live on Big Bass Dreams YouTube. There you go, guys. If you're not subscribed already to Big Bass Dreams and you're subscribed to me,
yeah,
you're dumb.
You're
but also thank you. So be subscribed to them. Turn on notifications. That way, like when things like this happen, they go live. You just get notified. You never miss it. That way, if you're doing something distracted, you can still jump on right away. It's going to be with Riley. Big Bass Dreams prize pack is available as well. Again, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. on the Big Bass Dreams YouTube channel. Be there. And then pick his nose. There you go.
Who did that? Did I do that?
Any bass addict. I have no idea. 22.5, but it wasn't 2 ounces larger. So the recorder is 22.4. Yeah, I thought it was like 22 pounds, 4.9 ounces or something like that.
It's freaking huge.
I forget. It's giant.
Hey, you're welcome.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm like trying to make sure I pay attention to StreamYard so that when Oliver does jump in here, I don't miss it. For when he gets here, guys, start lining up all your questions for it. We do have a few that I want to throw at him, but I also realize it's getting kind of late. He had a really busy day, and I'm sure he's got a busy day tomorrow. So I don't want to take up too much of his time. So we have a couple of like really core questions that the both of us want to ask him, but I want to make sure that you guys in the chat have plenty of opportunity to talk to him. So start thinking about what you want. I'll be able to throw them up on the screen so that way he can read them too. I mean, he'll be able to see the chat anyway, but we'll go from there. Let's see here. Matt, live wild shot. Yep.
Take up tons of his time.
If you insist. Damien, I'm lucky my job let me off work early enough just to be here. If I start listening to BBD podcasts, I'll never get work done. Yeah.
The madness going on in Texas recently?
No, dude, my job has been so consuming. I'm either...
outside world doesn't exist?
Yeah, pretty much, dude. From the moment I wake up until I get home, it's just work. And then I get a few hours with my family, and then it's work on the channel. I say it's not work. I love doing this shit. I live for it. But it's several hours of time that I spend it every night just so I can keep up with all the goals we're trying to hit this year. So, no, I haven't seen what's going on. I want to hear about it. Yeah, Jason, work is absolutely overrated. Don't worry. We got a solution coming real fast. I hope. I already got shot down from one.
From what?
One opportunity that I put my hat in the ring for.
Oh.
No bueno. It is what it is. Something bigger and better is coming my way. I can feel it.
Work is overrated.
Mike Oliver likes to ask, what's the best condition to throw a glide bait?
I was gonna ask that one.
Don't do that. We're trying not to throw super generic questions at him, but I'm sure it's probably going to be super generic questions. Oh, Cam, people have been catching monsters down there. That's about it. Well, that's not helpful, Cam.
Well, it's Texas.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Texas. Boy, Texas, we're steers. We can't say that word on YouTube anymore.
I will. Just kidding.
We get canceled.
Really?
I have no idea. It won't go over
That's
well.
not
That's all I know for sure. It's one of those no-no words now. Regardless of the context of it. Like, yeah, negative context, it's always been a no-no word. You can't even joke about that shit anymore. I know. Overrated. Any other questions for us, though? Like, at this point, I don't want to, like, keep hammering in random conversation. But if you guys have questions for us while waiting for Oliver, now's the time. Let's go after it.
One of those Oliver's favorite OG Megabass Vision 110 color scheme.
Ooh. You gotta stop mumbling.
I was talking to myself. I was just reading it.
I am curious about some of these answers that we're going to get. Lame. Screw you, Jason. No one wants to hear from you. Aside from that, one of the things we can talk about for the channel. I think I've said this for the last 3 months, but I promise you it's going to happen. We're going to work on it after this because it always takes me 2 hours to wind down after a stream before I can fall asleep anyway. We're going to be launching channel subscriptions. With that, you're going to get a couple of options. Some of the lower things, some of the things you get for the lowest tier that you get for your monthly subscription, which I think starts at $2 a month. Maybe it was $3, I forget. You get custom emojis you can use in the chat. You will get a badge.
One's my face.
Yes, it is. If I could put it in here right now, I would. I'd have to go back over to the YouTube stream.
Oh, you have it. I don't have it anymore.
Oh, it's all good. You get custom emojis. You get a badge. It's going to change different colors for every additional month that you're at it. And then after 6 months, you get the gold badge, the whole 9 yards. For higher tiers, we're going to offer an additional private stream every month. For the highest of tiers, we're offering one-on-one private calls with people to cover literally anything. The only caveat in that thing is we're not going to tell you our honey holes, our sweet spots, things like that. That's literally the only caveat. I don't want people to think they're going to be able to come in and pay this money and then demand that, hey, where's all those great-ass spots you've been fishing up in Vermont? Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're not going to tell you our honey holes. That's pretty much literally the only caveat. I mean, we can get Andrew feet pics, his feet for you. I mean, that's on the table.
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
What's the name of that?
What? The actual website?
Yeah.
Oh, OnlyFans.
No, there's an actual foot picture website.
Is there really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
You should check it out. I think it's called Grindr.
No. John, oh God, I gotta back up. John, what are your most hyped to use that you got at the show, not the Piz? I got some swim baits, some real price swim baits. I got this, I got a whole range of sizes, but I got some 2 3/4 inch rainbow trout pattern swim baits that I am confident I'm gonna have a really fun time with this spring up in a certain lake in Lakes region, New Hampshire.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
a lot of fun.
Oh dude, I think those things are gonna hammer it.
Mm-hmm.
Slaunch Beast Crew. I want to know how important he thinks it is to get back to your roots and fish out of a small boat. No electronics after fishing in such a beautiful boat all the time. Meh. I'm kidding.
Meh.
I like my glitter rocket.
I do it every time I go in my boat.
Yeah.
I get out.
Yeah. Brendan, y'all coming down to fish the Cape soon? Yes. So the only problem is I can never fish Saturdays. My wife works Saturdays. And now my son plays basketball, so I don't give a fuck about you.
I know.
My son plays basketball on Saturday afternoons, too, so my Saturdays are always tied up. And right now, it looks like it's going to snow on Sunday. Fingers crossed it doesn't snow. As long as it's not snowing, we're coming down Sunday. It's going to be great. Mike, it can be X-rated for you, buddy. Matt, Godfather Butch talks about moon phases. Hey, screw you, Sean. Nate, one-on-one private fishing charter. I can do that. We can do that in Massachusetts and Vermont, but I can't do it in New Hampshire. Not yet.
Hey, why don't you Nate, just come with us.
Right? Yeah.
Quit being a dad for a minute. Come out with us.
Oliver Big Moon, Big Moon guy, big. Oh, we caught up. Jason, those real praise are nice. I even grabbed a couple. Yeah, those are awesome. And Brendan, no more goddamn snow. Wholeheartedly agree there. Matt, well, don't forget that question, buddy. I want you to be able to ask it later. Keep in mind, I don't know, control copy it, man. Get it ready. So that when we get to that point, we turn it over to you guys. We can, you'll have it ready. But I'll make sure that one gets up because that is a really good question. Why
fans?
What?
Only fans.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I mean, he should be here any minute.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the snow at all.
No, dude, I'm tired of this already.
I've been over it since the first time it got below 40.
Yeah, and we've had pretty much like all of January sucked. It's cold.
It was cold, and then it got wet. And then it got cold again.
And then we got hammered.
It got wet and cold at the same time. Twice.
And then it got really cold again, then it got wet again.
Yeah, yesterday. And then today it's hot. I was outside in a t-shirt today. And then it got really cold, so I put my sweatshirt back on like 10 minutes later.
Mike keeps saying 15 minutes means 30. Keep telling you. I know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll get him on here. It's all good. Oh, my stepsister, Jill. Hey, Jill. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well.
Snow to the south.
We did send our snow down there. We were like, you know what? Screw all you southern bastards. Here's some cold, wet, miserable weather. Enjoy what we live through for 4 months every year.
It was 80 degrees the day I flew down. When I got down there, it was like 40, 45 when I got to Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It was bullshit.
To answer the question about how far south from New Hampshire do you have to drive for open water, I checked those satellite images today, and I can tell you there's not that many options open, but pretty much the Cape Cod Canal, south of that, there are, I would say, like, south of the canal, and then going east, like, right about where the arm starts, there's, like, a half dozen bodies of water that are open. Once you get out into the arm, like, out towards, like, Harwich area and further out, it's, like, all wide open. So anybody who's willing to risk that drive down there and brave it with all the snow and ice still on the roads, there's plenty of options for you down there. Can't promise you the fishing's going to be good right now, though. And I know a couple places down there I'd love to fish that have been getting absolutely hammered. They do every winter. And they're very feast or famine. So just manage your expectations when you make it down there.
Oh, steelhead? Oh.
Steelhead would be great.
I want to catch a steelhead. It'd be sick.
Yeah.
What do you end up grabbing at the show?
Did you grab anything at the show?
Nothing. That one I sent you was actually gifted, I think, to Sean. And you just said, take it. That perch.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like
oh, yeah. No, it was...
whatever the hell it was.
It was a Clash 9 with a custom paint.
That's what it was.
Yep. Totally forgot about that. I don't know where that bait is.
I have it. You said to hold on to it. I have it, and I'll give it to you. Because it's not trout
brain,
color.
work, brain, work, brain. Jesus.
It's not trout, you can have it.
Joe, my creek started thawing big time. March is going to be steelhead fire. That's going to be awesome, man. Yeah, Kyle, 30 minutes to the river. You're absolutely right. I've heard some guys still have success over there when the thing that makes it like worthwhile fishing there isn't doing its thing. I don't want to blow that spot up, man. There's like limited parking there.
When that spot works.
Yeah. But I'm going to keep it open. I have to drive right by the place on my way to work every single day. So if I see the smokestack ripping,
big trout dreams.
I can probably go there. Big trout dreams. Dude, those are giant rainbows though, Joe. Every time, man. Every time I see him post that, I'm like, God damn, I'd love to catch one of those.
Remember the snaps? Oh, yeah, I Snapchatted him that bait.
Which one? The perch?
That perch thing, yeah.
Nice. Follow Joe if you dig big trout dreams, possibly coming soon.
If you start a channel, I'll follow it.
Is it okay to have small bass dreams?
What small trout dreams?
If you come down to the Cape, it's pickerel season. It's always pickerel season down there. Remember that?
Is.
Remember those pickerel we saw the first time we went our first trip out 2 years ago?
The giant one I caught in that tiny little pink crankbait.
Yeah, and then we saw the two of them. They were like in spawn mode. There's like one really giant pickerel, and there's like a smaller one. And they were just
huge.
like, kind of cruising around, like hugging hands, holding hands, holding their little tiny fins. Hold my fin. Come on, Gippy. Panda, what's going on, buddy? You're late, but not too late for Oliver. He should be on any minute now. Big bass, tiny bass streams. I know a lot of guys that could have a channel doing that.
Yeah, me.
No.
Well,
I rewatched our video from Vermont where you caught those 2 5s. And that whole day made me so happy.
that day was insane.
Oh, guess what?
That day was absolutely insane.
Oops, clicked the wrong thing. There we go. What's going on, buddy?
Hi.
Boys.
How you doing?
Oh man, apologies for the
You
delay.
look tired.
No, you're good.
Me tired? Not at all.
So how you been, man?
Good. I mean, I just came off of a pretty epic day, big bait and topwater fishing, so I really can't complain about much.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Florida, just right here by Lake Toho.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So was that from the post I saw earlier from you out with Carl?
No, that was him and I last week.
Oh, okay.
But I had to squeeze it in before the elite event kicks off tomorrow. And
Nice.
So
So you are busy.
yeah, a little bit.
Well, dude, thank you very much for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So we got a few questions we're going to throw at you, but I don't want to take up too much of your time personally because there's a lot of people in the chat that want to throw you some questions too.
Sure.
So we'll kind of go with the ebb and flow and dude, at any point, if you're starting to doze off because I know you've had a really long day, let us know. Otherwise, they will keep you here for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Do not be bashful. You got to speak up.
Say,
No
I'm
worries.
going to bed now.
Right? Just give us the 5-minute warning. So a couple of questions that I did want to throw at you, but one of the things that I know a lot of people are always interested in hearing is like the origin story of everything, right? So start with you from a personal level, like just your whole background as to what got you into bass fishing and then how that led into the creation of Big Bass Streams.
Yeah, sure. If you guys want a polished version of that, you should just jump on YouTube and look up episode 1 of Das Boat season 1, and we go through that origin story in detail. But really, it stems from a unique experience, one unlike most of the people that I know in fishing and their origin stories, and that nobody in my family fish. And we just happened to be on a family picnic at a local LA County park. And I was a 10-year-old bored out of my mind, walking along the shoreline, catching little frogs in the tules or the reeds, as you know they're called in most parts of the country, and came across a tangled mess of line with some of those eagle claw snelled hook leaders that kind of mixed in there, and untangled just enough of it, probably 3.5, 4 feet out of this big old bird nest that was left on the shoreline, and wrapped it around the end of a stick and flipped over some rocks in the creek and walked my little happy ass to the fishing pier that I saw people fishing at, and dunked that worm over the side of the pier. And about 5 or 10 minutes later, I'm pretty sure I got bit by a sunny of some kind, bluegill or a red ear.
Yep.
And out of just instinct, I went to yank this beast of a fish out of the water, and that line snapped. So and that I feel like missing and breaking off led me down this path to where we are now, because if I had just caught a fish, I might have felt like, oh, okay, I scratched that itch, that was cool.
Oh, that was easy.
Right.
It's like, no, now I'm gonna get your ass.
But the fact that little monster got away is what intrigued me for the entire following week, and I was just enthralled with the possibility of actually catching a fish on my own. So, and fast forward many moons later, and it's been a slow organic growth to this point in my fishing arc. And never did I think it would take me to places like Florida or the Northeast or Canada or some of the international stuff I got to do before COVID shut that down. And it just started with that first bite, man, that first tick, tick, thump, however you want to describe that sensation. But it just triggered something in me that I feel that is innate in many of us humans. I mean, up until the last couple of generations, fishing was a way to feed yourself. And I mean, what better high was there than to feel that connection to, a potential meal or providing a food for your family. And I think that still kind of strikes us in some fashion. Every time I feel that tick, or every time that bass misses my topwater lure this evening, like it's a special experience, man.
It sure is. Gets my
Yeah.
heart pumping every time.
Yeah, I was really pissed every time they missed. I mean, I missed probably a 6 or 7 pounder right at the end. Came out of the water sideways,
Oh,
That sucks.
and I felt her, just enough to sting her, and she didn't get it.
it's like that last one that when you fell down on your deck of your boat and then you finally catch it again.
Yeah, can you believe
That
that?
was hilarious.
That was just a couple days ago, and
That was hilarious.
one of those deals where I just knew. I called my shot. I'm like, "Are you ready? Like, here's a little isolated pad patch. These Florida fish love spawning on the hard bottom that these pad patches grow on." And I was fishing that 13 Banff shad through there, weedless, and sure enough, ate it right where it's supposed to, and swung and missed. And I was like, "Come on!" Like, I just had a and you guys saw the rest. It just a circus ensued.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking sick.
It's hilarious. I was dying.
I
was
saw you miss. I was like, oh, we still got it.
Oh, I couldn't believe it because I fell, in dramatic fashion to the deck of the boat, just causing a scene with my girlfriend, the dog, and my buddy Dave, who was here to fish the Open last week. And as I was on the floor, I could feel that fish eat that bait again, 20, 30 feet from where it originally struck it the first time. And obviously Dave's got eyeballs on it and gives us that beautiful audio play-by-play. And to come from that, laying down sideways position and actually get a hook set into it the second time was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I was just about to ask that too. I was going to say, like, what did that bite feel like when it came back for it? Like, she truck it, all of a sudden you just kind of feel like a little thump, and all of a sudden line was going away from you.
Yeah, I mean, I swung initially and moved all that line and that bait, right? But really, I just took that opportunity away from that fish. So it was fired up. It closed that gap in no time. And as I fell to the deck and my bait started falling down, like, it's got a pretty seductive sinking action on it. I could literally just feel it go boom, and I'm just like, "Oh, you got to be kidding!"
It really is the best feeling.
So
Makes me excited.
yeah, only in fishing, man.
Yep.
Seriously, nobody else would understand that.
No,
ever.
none of my basketball buddies would understand that. Like, you don't.
Hit the rim. Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the rim doesn't hit back.
Sports.
So, all right. So I like the short and sweet version of you as you got into it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What was the spark that brought about Big Bass Streams? That just kind of started it all? Like, was it a little idea that you just kind of started like playing around with, or was it like some like just kind of easiest way to put it, like just mind blowing thing, like an epiphany almost, where you're like, God damn, I have to do this?
Well, let's take it back about a decade. And I had just come off of a 2-year hiatus from bass fishing, because from 2010 back through, I don't know, 2003, 4, I was hyper focused on catching a teen size largemouth. And regardless of what many people outside of California may think, like, catching bass is very difficult in California. Catching one over 10 pounds is extremely difficult in California. It just so happens we kick out a lot of big fish. So people have this, twerked conception that, man, it must be easy in California, just like it must be easy down here in Florida or in Texas or wherever else the grass is greener on the other side.
You still got to know how to catch them.
Right.
But man, like, I know some incredible anglers that have fished California their whole lives, my whole life, that have still yet to break that double-digit mark. So they are special fish. And obviously we have even more special fish in the form of teeners, from 13 to 19 and beyond in certain fisheries when things line up. I mean, there's a lot of places that had them, but good grief, good luck catching one, right? Good luck fooling one. And I spent that block of time just so hyper focused on figuring out how to catch a teener bass. Like a 15 was kind of my goal. And in the early years, it was hard to break 7 pounds because of my fishing style and the lure choices and my tactics back then, my choices in where to target these fish. It all plays a role into it, and I just got a little bit less terrible at it as the years went by. And in 2010, I had some double digits under my belt, a ton of 7-8 pounders, like a lot of them, like hundreds, if not thousands at that point. But to the point where like I was getting frustrated because oh my gosh, like another 7-pounder, like another 7-pounder. Like, what do I got to do to break through this threshold and this plateau I'm stuck at? And man, I was fishing on one of my home lakes, and it was Lake Casitas, and this is probably the tail end of this magical fishery where fish up to 21 pounds have been caught in the past, and the genetics were there. It was trout stock still, so they're growing to these enormous sizes. Probably the second biggest fish I've ever seen was nosing this same swim bait that I had this experience with that I'm going to elaborate with you guys on. But like that thing was probably 16, 18 pounds.
Good Lord.
I mean, literally, like I'm trying to like feed line out of my reel and let the wind drift the boat away from this fish because I'm running out of room to get this thing to eat. And eventually we just end up beaching the boat, and the fish spooked because I had nowhere to go. And this is before I realized the power of keeping that fish engaged boat side and focus on the lure. Before figure eighting or boat side mechanics for largemouth was really a thing, and really before I started having experiences with it myself. And we're out there. This is probably April or March or April of 2010. And I remember this vividly. Bluebird, sunny sky. It's like 10:30, 11 in the morning. Like everything that you would read about at the time, that these aren't really high percentage, big bait, big fish situations, when I've actually come to realize that it's probably a low percentage window to get bites, but a high percentage window for the right bite. Those big fish they tend to be very visual feeders, like the smallies up north. You get that high sun, man, they like that. You're not going to catch a bunch of them, but when you're talking about fish of this class, like you only need one. And I made this beautiful cast from the main lake onto a secondary point, and the water's 20, 25 foot visibility, super clear, not a ripple, 10.5-inch wake bait, fishing it. And I figured out this retrieve where I get these fish to react to this thing, even if they weren't actively feeding or looking for an easy meal. And I triggered this bite, and I'm looking this way, and I'm working the bait this way towards the point, and just hear, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I turn and I look. I'm telling you, a 10.5-inch bait is big.
It's big. Yeah, it's huge.
It's like this long, but like that tall, that wide. Like it's a big, massive bait. And I turn and I see this freaking mouth with it, like grabbed it like a T-bone. And it just starts doing this big head shake. Like it immediately ate the bait, sunk out about 2 feet, but I could see it clear as day because of the visibility and the sun position. And dude, she shakes it free on like the second or third head shake. And this bait floats up, but get this, she's nosing with it. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I hit it one more time, and dude, she ate it again. Oh gosh, this thing. And back in the early day of like low profile, big bait swim bait reels. And I'm sorry, but that first Corrado 300D just did not have the balls to move it.
Throwing a 10-inch bait on a Corrado.
And she did the same thing, man. Like it ate it immediately, and it was like instantaneously, like 2 or 3 feet under the surface, and I couldn't get her moving. I had her mouth open, which is what you want with these big fish, but this is a big reason why you could see the shift to these big round reels after that time frame, because the Calcutta TE and then the subsequent Conquest and now the Daiwa Tatula, all these reels are capable of like muscling through these fish and pinning that big open mouth against that water pressure. And as long as you can get them moving towards you, that pressure of that open mouth acts like a windsock.
Yep.
Now they can't jump out of the water to shake your bait. They can't close their mouth and turn their head and rip hooks for you. So if you watch the hundreds of videos that we have, you see me get bit, pwn these fish, and slap them straight to the boat. Like, I'm not here to enjoy the fight. Like, there's plenty of other things that I enjoy taking
Yeah,
drag.
not with baits like that. You got it.
No, well, not with fish like that. And
Well, a fish like that, yeah.
I couldn't get that fish moving either time that she ate this thing with both hooks in her face. And you know, that thing is
Dragging a trash bag.
that bait must have been 10 ounces.
Oh my
Right.
God.
So that's a lot of this going on and a lot of momentum and ripping hooks out. And dude, she ripped off again.
Oh,
And she didn't eat it this time. And you know, the guy I was fishing with, him and I didn't utter a word, a noise for about 3 hours.
oh no.
Oh,
And we just continue fishing on the bank, and he just goes, "Dude, that was the biggest bass I've ever seen." Like let off this, profane like Tourette's
I would do.
tirade.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody on the lake could hear me. But I can safely guesstimate that fish to be 14, 15 pounds. After
holy Jesus.
That's insane.
fish.
Still hooked
But-
her twice.
To hook her twice and not get her was beyond a heartbreaker. It honestly pushed me over the edge because I was so hyper focused. Dude, I didn't throw a traditional bait that entire time. I fished a big bait throughout every season just to try and learn from my firsthand experiences, because the things I was already doing at that point in my fishing career, nobody I knew was doing. Right. So I'm having to really think outside the box constantly and experiment and figure out how to catch these fish, through trial and error and going through the motions and learning through failure. Unfortunately, like, dude, I failed a lot. Like every which way you can miss a bite, lose a bite, spook a fish, you name it. Like I've done it, but I draw from those experiences now. And I feel like I definitely make a lot less mistakes, so that the numbers start working in my favor. But back to that story, that same day I had a custom lure wrap that must have had, I don't know, like 22 or 24 triple trouts, and half of them were customs, half of them were one-offs. I was really good friends with Scott Whitmer at the time, and dude, I caught so many big fish on those things, and somehow that thing blew out of the boat
Oh no.
during the course of that day.
Oh,
And I'm telling you, that was a long 130 miles back to the house. And
bet.
Oh,
I didn't go bass fishing again until 2012. I'd been laid off from the fallout of the market and the construction industry from 2008 on. I was able to maintain my job then up until that point. And about the fourth time my company laid me off, they were just like, dude, we're like continuing to shrink. We can't bring you back this time. So I found myself with all this time while I'm trying to find another, project manager job, which there were none. I go, well, I guess I'll go fishing again. And
oh, now what do you?
bass fishing, and went straight to the swim bait in mid-January of 2012. And dude, I sucked for about a month. Shaking off all those cobwebs and trying to relearn all that muscle memory and just getting the rhythm. Plus, January really sucks most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just taking a winter off can do that to you.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, like almost 2 full years for me. I did other styles of fishing, but I didn't touch bass because I was just mentally over it. But stepping away from it allowed me to kind of, miss it. And when I first started getting bites again in mid-February, when things start really kicking in a gear in Southern California, typically, dude, I caught a 7.5, and then I caught an 11.5 in the same day.
Oh man.
And I'm just like, oh man, that was dope. And
no shit.
so the next day, I probably had a 44-pound bag for my best five.
Good Lord.
Topped by an 11, 12 or 11, 15. It's hard to remember all these fish the decade later, but like I caught them almost every day. And in the next 7-week span, 17 of them were 10 pounds even or bigger.
Wow.
Let alone the 7s, the 8s, the 9s that I was like, no, get off my bait. Even like the second biggest one. Like, And mind you, even during this incredible window of opportunity, dude, I had some of my best friends fishing with me. And if anybody is watching that has seen the actual first Big Bass Streams DVD Volume 1, you see a lot of my different friends playing net pitch.
Yeah.
And it's really because they kept trying to chase what they had seen me do, either even earlier in the day or worse yet, the day before. And I was just so hyper tuned into these fish and making adjustments. I caught them on a different bait almost every day, and I caught them in different areas, different days. And I was just able to adjust on the fly and continue whacking these fish. Like I had 6 limits over 40.
Jeez.
And
That's insane.
you know, and obviously I got all of it. Oh, I was beyond dialed. And there were guys that were having seasons on these bodies of water too. But like, dude, I was like extra dialed. I wish I was that dialed last year on the opens. I wish I was a quarter of that dialed. Like that was an insane experience. And obviously I'm capturing all this via GoPro before most fishermen even knew what a GoPro was. This is Hero 2D, GoPro Hero 2 days.
Damn.
And I'm showing this stuff to my, some of my friends in my circle, the guys that are fishing with me, and we're watching it. And we're just like, damn, dude, this is insane. And this is back when DVDs were relevant. And they're like, dude, you got to put together a DVD and put it out there and blah, blah, blah. Man, I don't know if I go down that road. Like I've been around this game long enough. It's either I'm all in or I'm out. And just after a lot of self-deliberation, I felt like this is like way too dope not to share with the world and bass fishing culture.
Yeah.
And Big Bass Dreams has always been fundamentally built on that content. Like it's never been an apparel brand. It's never been this, that, and a third. Its foundation is in those experiences and trying to capture them to share with others. And it still holds true to this day, even if I'm missing fish and falling on the deck and swinging from, my ass. Like, same deal. So it really, like, I felt like I was living the dream at the time, right? Like what bass fisherman wouldn't dream of what I'm living in this period? Like, what do we call this thing? So I had a terrible list of like 20 different like names, and, Big Bass Dreams was at the top from the get-go. And the more I said it, like, yeah, it rolls off the tongue really good. But most importantly, the domain was available. There was nobody else out there with a similar name except for Big Bass Towing in Texas. Had a fight with them for trade issues. But
Oh no.
yeah, man, like, come on, bro. Towing business. But
Dibs.
gosh, yeah, almost 10 years later, man, we put that first DVD out in June 15th of 2013, and we've been hitting the ground running. And it's taken me all the way up into the Northeast. I've been at the Worcester show with old Dan Kenny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Worcester.
and to come from LA to the literal opposite end of the country in winter and see people rocking Big Bass Dreams hats and buying all these crazy custom swim baits that I brought with me. And I was just like, yo, I would have never expected this.
New England is pretty crazy with their big bait.
Yeah, man. And it always has been. So I just saw the last show went really well. Paul Smith from my area made it up there, and it doesn't seem like he's having any trouble selling any baits.
I got myself a Piz. I've been talking to Paul on Instagram for years, and like just I don't know, just like reacting to whatever he's talking about. We shoot the shit like minimally, but like a friendly, open conversation that's been going on for a few years. And I saw him at the show, and I finally got a bait.
Cool,
keeping
man.
that. I am keeping that because I don't have a ton. We were talking about this earlier in the stream before you got onto it. Like I love the swim bait fishing scene, but I'm still very much a traditional angler. And it's another tool in the toolbox most of the time. But, like probably 2-3 years ago is when we really started like really doing this.
Yeah.
We'll probably do like a dozen trips out of the year where it's like, all right, let's just go out kind of like late in the afternoon and we'll fish till 2, 3, 4 in the morning and let's just grind big baits, man. And it's fun. It's becoming more and more regular in the rotation. I've got 2 custom rods built just for throwing them. I've got one from Lew's now now I finally have 3 things so I don't have to keep constantly retying these things, but it's like, I was
I'm good.
dying to get one of these Piz because I'm still trying to be hyper selective what I get, and that fits my style to a T. I can make it work with all the other different ways that I like to fish, so it's not too foreign that I feel like I'm forcing something and I get frustrated. So that I finally got that shallow crank and crappie that made me really happy.
Sick, man. That's awesome. I can't wait for you to, get that thing wet and get some tooth marks on that thing.
Oh, I know it's gonna be.
You're gonna cry when you get a tooth mark on it.
No, dude, I'm gonna be so happy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've had a lot of big baits over the years, and my favorite ones are the ones that can't even swim anymore because they're that beat up and got just the gnarliest battle scars. And to me, a beat up bait
Those are
that
the best
brings me back to those experiences is way more beautiful than a brand new bait on the shelf in a package.
Yep. Well, it's the same thing. To me, it's no different than your bass boat, right? Like, yeah, we love our glitter rockets. We want them to always look sexy, but like I mean, we're in New Hampshire, right? So we got to deal with road salt and shit. We got all the snow and ice, and like people, the last 3 years, we've been pushing it right to the end of December 3 years ago, and then into January up here. Still, like we're driving 190 miles one way to get to open water. And people are like, "Dude, what about all that road salt on your boat?" I'm like, "It's a fucking tool. I use it to go catch slimy ass
literally
fish. And
getting
I
washed
flip all
all
over
day.
it, right? Like, I like, yeah. Do I want it to always look nice? Yeah, but I want to use it, so I don't care about any of that. Same deal with the bait. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful bait, but I can't wait to beat the crap out of it catching fish on it.
I'd hit a dock with this.
You probably would.
Oh, I've hit lots of docks. I mean, I busted a KGB Chad shad on day one at Norman and Smith Lake where I was catching fish on these things. It just blew up the entire back half, just, sending it.
Jeez.
Like,
Yeah,
you got to risk it for the biscuit.
Damn right. Oh, that's one of my favorite phrases.
what have bull wake or bull wake?
Yeah, the bull shad bull wake.
Yeah, and I,
Dude, he only had it for like 4 months and he bounced it off a dock.
dude, the whole front, like the whole face came off of it. Like, at least give me the bill. Like, come on, like, what the fuck? That was bullshit. We were catching fish all night too.
I used to get a lot of grief from the early bait makers, man, because if it was breakable, like I broke it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
absolutely.
product testing.
What's the
Durability
hardest
testing.
thing I can throw this thing at night?
Right?
A waterfall. Let's throw it over it. See ya.
Yeah, New Hampshire's not kind either because we're the granite state. So our shoreline is either dirt or granite boulders.
Hard as fuck.
Yeah.
None of it. That's one of the few states I have yet to fish in.
Well,
There's a lot of good water up here. There's a lot of good water up here, but like truly trying to break like 6 pounds for largemouth on like a relatively moderate basis, right? Like it's hard. Like 6 pounds and up, that's a beast up here. For smallmouth, like
I spent enough time in the northern band of the country. I know.
oh yeah.
Well,
But it's great
I
because
got a teeny tiny little place I want you to come catch this one big fish just so I can see it
God.
again.
I would love to see that.
It's fucking huge.
We'll have to drop the Old Town kayak in it and get stealth.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
This
Yeah.
is sick.
So, in regards to Big Bass Dreams and everything that you've worked towards, and I don't like it is work, but it isn't. This is your passion. It's the same thing like with everything we're doing with the channel here as well. It's like I try not to call it work because it doesn't feel like work. It's just time and effort. So, with all that time and effort you've put into this, like where would you say it is today with everything that you've done over the last decade to get it to this point?
Gosh, it's at a place where I really didn't foresee it ever getting to. Just my lifestyle now, the people I get to engage with, the fisheries I've got to experience, the fact that I got to compete against some of the world's best competitive anglers, the last season. Just it's pretty surreal, and it's a reminder to myself that I have nothing to complain about. Like I've been able to push fishing into such a crazy way of living my life. I'm forever grateful, and now I'm at a point where I feel that my contribution to the culture of fishing is as important as anything. So I'm doing my best to help cultivate how I feel fishing should be portrayed.
Yep.
To especially to people that aren't in our bubble space. I mean, going back 10 years, I mean, especially in Southern California, you were kind of strange if you were into fishing. Like, where do you even go fishing? Like, people do that here.
Right.
And now, you know, especially with how much growth we've seen because of the last couple of years and the dynamics of the world, like it's being enjoyed by so many millions of new people of all kinds. You know, partially because they were forced to do something, but that's okay.
Right.
You know, it sucks to see the pressure on some of these bodies of water, but really, like, it doesn't bother me because I grew up fishing heavily pressured water, and that never stopped myself or my friends from catching them and adapting and further getting less shitty at fishing and continuing to catch them regardless. So now the rest of the country has to deal with that same deal. And yeah, it does kind of suck, but really the growth of the sport is important for the industry to continue to grow and for us to be able to continue doing what we're doing, because you know, especially at home, and we're restricted in so many ways now, and it's not going to get easier. Like, it's a pain in the ass to try to go bass fishing at home in Southern California. Like, it really is. For a multitude of reasons. So yeah, just going forward, you know, we want to do things for the right reasons, like I feel like we've done up to this point, and continue on that path and continue to evolve with the times. I mean, we talked to the team about even starting a TikTok. Like, oh man,
Dude,
it's not a bad idea.
You know better than the vast majority of people out there how I saw that look. You know better than anybody else, like how you have to stay on your toes for the social media aspect. It's insane because it makes these like giant shifts every 6 months, and then shit like TikTok, right? All of a sudden comes out of the blue and it's like, whoa, okay, like,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, damn it, I gotta put another thing on my phone.
6, 7 years, and I didn't know what a YouTube fisherman was.
Yep.
And you know, someone brings up these guys to me at dinner one night, and they're like, "Oh, these are my heroes," and you know, this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm like, no, like, who? Why should I know who they are? And you know, little did I know that YouTube fishing was a thing. And instead of you know, sitting back and observing it for the first couple of years, if I had just taken some action, I'd be a lot less bitter at myself, because I had all the video content.
Right.
You still have old stuff that you haven't shared yet?
There's still a lot of it. I mean, even from last season, right? I documented every one of those 9 open events, and I'm not kidding when I'm telling people that I got the 10 bites I needed to fish the final day in 3 of the 9 events, and I got them on 1 of the 2 days and 2 others. So I felt pretty encouraged, and I was really looking forward to this first Southern Open here on the Kissimmee chain, but I didn't get in for who knows what reason. But I am confirmed for the Northern Division. So I got 3 shots at the Classic, which is why, you know, that's the goal, is to make the Classic and scratch that off the list and hopefully win that bad boy and go back to catching, you know, big crappie dreams and big musky dreams.
Big crappie dreams.
and going back to doing what I want full time.
Right.
I mean, that's the end goal. This competitive, you know, little sidetrack is really going down memory lane for me, because when I was growing up, tournament bass fishing was one of the few ways you can make it in fishing as a career.
Yeah, until essentially like you and a handful of others made this social aspect of it like very, very real.
Totally. Yeah. So my teen years through my early mid 20s, dude, I was just into tournament fishing.
Yep.
And you know, to pick that up again after a 7-year hiatus, I fished my last tournament probably like in 2014, as far as like a pro-am format. And that was a FLW, I think it was a Rayovac back then, maybe.
Yeah, the Rayovac Cup. The Rayovac Trail, whatever. Yep, there was.
It's the Toyota series now.
Yep.
But yeah, I fished at Clear Lake, and that was the last time I actually fished, you know, a high level event. So to step back into it, and it was kind of like riding a bike. You know, I mean, gosh, first day of the first event last year on Harris Chain. And you know, through a meager practice, you know, I smacked like 4 big bait fish to cull a couple of times, and I was sitting in 20th, and I was like, sweet, Like I just need those fish to do that again, and for the win. Blowing from the opposite direction and blowing a bunch of cold, dirty water into my areas. Like I felt like I had a real close shot at that. And I still had 2 fish nosing my big baits at the trolling motor that would have probably pushed me over into that cut. But it's fishing, man. You can't control the conditions. You can only control what's within your control. And I mean, that's part of the beauty of it. But it's been a lot of fun. But I like to find a point in my fishing where I can dabble in some tournaments, but still spend a lot of my focus and time on all the other cool things I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. Well,
So-
I mean, we don't fish any big tournaments yet. I had ideas for it for this year about trying to do the opens, and then determined I was like, yeah, it's hard with everything I have going on with my career and then my family life, my wife's work schedule is still, my kids are 9 and 5. I was like,
I'm 31.
And 31, my adopted son here.
No, man, it's a huge time commitment, monetary commitment, and I give anybody that has ever stepped up to the plate, especially on the professional side, to put their money where their mouth is and take a real swing at it, no matter how they did. Dude, it takes a level of balls to do that, and much respect to everybody that
It can
is
be nerve-wracking for sure.
competing. And, dude, it's nerve-wracking, man. Like I didn't want to be that dude that his boat wouldn't start like in the blast off line. Whatever nightmare, embarrassing scenario it was. Like, all right, dude, keep it together. Like, don't have okay, cool. Like, all right, bro. It's cool, and you used to look over and see people like Guy Eaker, who's like 82 years old, in a Bojangles wrapped, yellow boat. Like, damn, I remember seeing that dude's jigs in the Bass Pro catalog when I was a kid. Like that's freaking dope. I'm fishing against them. And, it's cool. Like if it's something if tournament fishing is something you're passionate about, I mean, I fully support everybody pushing it as far as you can go, because I mean that's what I'm doing. Now that I have the means after a lifetime of not having the means of even leaving a Southern California bubble within a couple hours, like I got to take the shot and just experience it. Yeah. And I implore everybody to experience it. The co-angler side is, dude, there's no shame in that. I got boys at home where I'm like, dude, you could probably clean house fishing out of the back of the boat if you get a couple of decent draws in a row.
Right.
Someone puts you around the fish, you're going to catch them.
Dude, he cleans house from the back of my boat all the time.
For sure, man. And honestly, I spent most of my fishing career out of the back of other people's boats. I didn't have my first boat, and boat is a loose term, mind you, because it's a much shittier version of my current 1.0 little aluminum boat.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that thing until I was 24.
We're alike.
Very much. Very, very much.
Yeah, man. So I know what it's like to have not.
Yep.
So it's made me even stronger and more adaptable. And when something goes wrong, like my trolling motor batteries are dead, I can still wind drift and stay fishing. I can pivot. I'm not freaking out because my spot lock doesn't work and my live scope is dead. Oh, what do I do?
Do what you always did in the past.
That's right.
My trolling motor head falls off.
Yeah.
Off.
Yeah, your trolling motor head falls off. We were out in Vermont. Was that October or November? It doesn't matter. Sometime late in the year like that. And I have the Lowrance Ghost. And we move spots and I deploy it. And I go to, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? I look down. I'm like, guy, the prop's gone. It's gone. He's like, what do you mean it's gone? I'm like, I don't know. It's just gone. We have no prop.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
And we got
trolling motor props don't win against Pickwick rock walls either, because I chopped straight off trying to get a snagged swim bait out of the tree.
Oh no.
Oh,
so I know that feeling. It's like, what the hell? I'm getting power, but I don't feel anything.
right.
It's because there's no goddamn prop on that thing.
Right. Well, I broke the other prop I had. The first one I had, it came with the trolling motor. Same deal. I slapped it against a rock and I go to click it again. I'm like, what the fuck? Pull it up. One blade's completely gone. I'm like, well, there's that for the day. We'll just do the best we can.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. And it just seems to always work out. Like it's Murphy's Law. Like things that will go wrong during the tournament days, not during practice, not during fun fishing. Not in those 9 to 15 days prior, but on game day, something is going to go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, dude, we were literally talking about that before you got on, and just real quick to recover it. So we fished a 2-day tournament this fall in Vermont on 2 lakes we absolutely, well, one we love and one we'd never been to. So went and pre-fished it. We had a great time. Felt like I had the smallmouth bite figured out how deep. And then we rolled up to this spot. First spot, I have the Ego like slider net, right? And it's only 2 years old. They're great nets. And I went to go flip in. It's like had like a 3.5 pound smallmouth early in the day, and the metal piece that actually threads into the head sheared right at the end of the plastic head. No. So I'm like, well, he's like, what do we do? I'm like, I mean, we got long arms. We're both like 6 feet. He's 6. I'm 6'2". We're like, we'll just lean. We'll be fine. So we did that for like the next 3 fish. We're like, okay, we can make this work. I threw out my jig, turned around, I was doing something, pick it back up, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I got a fish. And I saw it as it rolled on the surface, and I knew it was big. I knew it was a heavy 4. He was literally like, if this was the gun on the boat, sit back, he was all the way up. Like, and he just missed the fish by like a foot. And dude, he was like inches from falling into the water. And I didn't see it jump when it came unpinned. And I was like, that sucks, whatever. And he's like,
straight up at me and like out away from me. I was like, no.
So, and I was like, I've had a lot of personal growth this year, so like shit like that would have wrecked me mentally for the rest of the day. But I was like, nope, like this is fine. I have a spool of braid. I have a brand new roll of electrical tape just by chance. I overlapped them, taped the thing up with a ton of braid. Oh yeah, that's rigid. We're good for the rest of the day. Should have thought about that 4 hours ago, but we're good from here on out for the rest of the day. And then about that fish on the drive home, we're like an hour into it, and he looks at me and goes, "Do you really see that fish?" I mean, I did kind of. I think it was like, I thought it was like a heavy 4. He's like, that was your PB. I just didn't want to tell you during the tournament. I was like, son of a bitch. All because stupid net broke. I never had a net break like that before.
Brutal.
Like you said, Murphy's Law, right in the tournament.
I should have dove in.
Yeah, you should have. No.
It's cold.
But you're right. It's just that's how it's always going to go. And that really can test the mental fortitude of a lot of people. And not everybody's built for that.
It's tough, man. I mean, gosh, everybody sacrifices and invests so much to put yourselves in a position, even just taking the time off, right? We all live busy lives. And prior to me doing this full time, like, I got 2 days out of the week on the weekend to try to go fishing, and to lose out on those opportunities because of something going bad, and to not let it affect your mental state. And it's a tough thing to do. And a younger version of myself wasn't always able to overcome those hurdles. But now it's like, dude, I've been around the block a while. Like, it's gonna happen. So why let it ruin my day? Like, I'm just gonna pivot, try to find some electrical tape, put this net back together, and keep fishing.
Right.
Yep. It worked.
Yeah.
Or both fish too late.
One fish too late. One really big fish too late.
One really big.
The plus side, it wouldn't have mattered because it was at the end of the second day of a 2-day tournament, and it was cumulative. Yeah, so total weight from the 2 days from 2 different lakes is what it would have been to win.
I still want to catch a 5-pound smallie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We were like 4 pounds behind the next place. We finished 7th out of 22 boats or something like that over the weekend. So not bad. For one lake, we fished 10 times, and one lake we had fished once, me alone, for 5 hours of just literally idling around. Okay, what's out here? So it was still a good experience, and it didn't hurt that bad, thankfully. That like, shit, if we had that fish, we would have made a lot of money. Well, may have made lunker money though. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it would have.
Probably would have.
It was 4.
Was our buddy Sean in the chat? 4.89, I think it was.
Yeah.
For Smalley for the weekend. Just solid smallmouth.
That's a nice fish, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we digress. Hit him with that one. Your turn.
Your plans for the future, this year and beyond.
Okay, so this year I'm having a pivot because I was planning on making it into the Southern and Northern Bassmaster Opens. And apparently, since I didn't get into the first one, that means regardless if I win back-to-back in the remaining 2, if they let me fish them, I can't make the Classic.
Right, yeah, because you have to fish all 3 in that division.
Yeah, not due to any decision-making on my part.
Right.
So I'm out. That means I'm out of the Southern, so that frees up my schedule a little bit more. We are working on a high production pitch around the Toyota series to some partners, but once again, kind of running out of time on that and getting budgets approved. So I'm kind of ready to tell my team we should pivot and push that off till 2023 possibly, because I want to do it right. I want to document the experience at a high level and an impactful and engaging level. So I was considering fishing the Western Division series on Havasu, Clear Lake, and the Delta, because those are home bodies of water for me. I don't have to start from scratch like I would have had to do here on the Kissimmee chain, or most of the schedule, in the Midwest to East Coast portion of the countries. But I still may dabble in the Northern Toyota Opens just because I want redemption on the St. Lawrence River, because I felt like
So do we.
So do we.
Fuck that place.
oh man, brutal. I mean, gosh, what a special place. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt at the end of my run there last fall. So I want redemption there. I want to fish a tournament on Champlain because I got to see a little glimpse of what that place is capable of when we shot Das Boat season 3 there for Bowfin. But me and the crew actually got to sneak out for a couple afternoons and just hammered the smallmouth on top water. I'm like, oh, I can really get into this place. So, those are two great excuses for me to spend even more time up there and learning those fisheries and, dropping my dollar in the bucket and see where I land. So that leaves 5 for sure tournaments that I'm going to fish this year, which was originally like 11, which is still plenty.
Oh, yeah.
But that's also going to free up some blocks of time in my schedule for me to shoot a second season of a Black Rifle Coffee series that should hopefully be coming out soon. We shot season 1. Yeah.
Dude, I can't. I've been drinking these things forever. I love them.
I'm back on a keto diet. I'm like, hey, do you want one of these? And he's like, yeah, why aren't you having them? I'm like, I'm on keto. I can't have sugar. And they're my favorite, but they're loaded with sugar. So I'm like, I'm a fatty. I gotta kill it for a couple months.
I could take a couple more sugars.
Word. So that we're trying to pivot and figure out a schedule and just a storyline to share for season 2 for that Black Rifle Coffee series. And really, like, dude, I've spent so much time devoted to being on these tournament bodies of water. Like, usually when it's not good. And usually when it's like 3rd, 4th, 5th sloppy seconds and, whatever, and having to just squeak through terrible fishing. Like, I just want to go back and fish some cool stuff and catch some big ones again, man. Like, and bring a little bit more of that balance a little bit sooner than I anticipated, because I gave myself 3 years on this high-end competitive scene to give it a real shot. And initially I was going to fish all 9 opens all 3 years, but like, dude, the Central Division schedule looked like crap to me.
Yep.
Then it conflicted with the one, event on the St. Lawrence, which was that Toyota series. And I mean, I don't care whose venue it is. Like, I just want to win a higher level tournament on that body of water for, some sense of redemption. And hopefully maybe in 23, if they go back there, I can do it again, because, trying to figure out unique ways to catch these fish is how I feel I stand the greatest chance to accomplish my goal of winning one.
Yep.
And gosh, man, I felt like I came so close. Like, literally watched these fish come up and eat my baits, and the temperament just wasn't right. It was like today. Like, today is the first day of the post front. And I could get these fish still to react, but it wasn't like the last 2 or 3 days when they were just poosh, and they got both hooks in their face, and I don't lose any fish. Today they're just eating it funny. They just weren't ready yet. That temperature drop affected them, just like those cold fronts and those post fronts affected them, on top of the first day of the last 4 tournaments being on the new moon and the moon and the full moon. I think the 2 worst days of the month to go fishing.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many comments we said, Oliver, talk about the moon sign.
Well, a lot of that was Joe and Mike just being cheeky in the chat.
And then everyone kind of just picked up on it.
Yeah, Joe and Mike are lucky that I whooped their monkey asses. Yeah, man. Maybe, in the future, I'll get my shot again. But yeah, man, it's going to be a fun year with those boys. We're all kind of traveling together, planning on kind of rooming and home basing together. So we restarted our live stream on the Big Bass Dreams channel every Thursday night because we didn't want to compete with you guys.
There's no competition.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
we are not a competition.
Looking forward already to the James River event, which is only 2 months away, and doing a live stream after day one of the tournament.
Yep.
And just continue to share our experiences and our stories through our Big Bass Dreams platforms. So we got all kinds of stuff coming. We got new members of the team, from trophy hunters to tournament anglers to the youth. We've got like 4 or 5 young hammers from junior high to high school that are kicking ass scholastically, which I feel is very important.
Oh yeah, it's good.
A lot of these kids and these young adults these days, they don't value how important it is to learn, no matter what the subject is. I mean, because that's what fishing is. Like, it is constant learning.
Oh yeah, it drives you to learn.
Yeah. So if you're not wiring your brain to really embrace critical thinking and problem solving, like, you're sorry, but you're gonna be posting a lot of sunset photos.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, though. Like, and that was perfectly well said, because that's really what it takes to excel. You can read anything you want. You can watch every video there's ever been on any one technique, whatever. But if you can't go out there and put the time in on the water and then really think about what you're doing, take in all of that input, translate it, understand it, make adjustments, like that, to me, is really what sets a great angler apart from just somebody out there posting sunset photos.
Oh, for sure.
You have to have that capacity to reach that next level, or at least have that passion to at least, go for it at that level, trying to break down all those nuances to unlock those little bitty nitty, little secrets of each, every single day. How have I always said it? It's like bass fishing is like 4D level chess match where they change the rules every single day.
For sure.
It's just, there's very little overlap even from day to day, with obviously some exceptions. You'll run into like a 2 or 3 day window where it's like, yeah, dude, like that bait and that color is it. But
And then the fourth day, it's like, what the?
Yeah.
Totally, man. Yeah. So I feel like it's important to groom these young aspiring anglers from a young age to really embrace school, because school should be one of your first challenges. And honestly, when I was growing up, I never really felt that challenge through school. Like, it was kind of easy because, it was something I had to do well at high level for my mom to even allow me to go do anything else, including fishing. So, hopefully we can push the youth in that direction, because I feel like it sets them up for success through fishing or in life in general.
Absolutely.
High level chess isn't for everybody. Like, it's fun to play checkers sometimes. And if you want to play checkers and king me, come shiner fishing down here in Florida. They catch all kinds of big fish.
I'm a checkers kind of guy.
There's nothing wrong with
for the shiners. So.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. It's all fishing. Like, it's all cool.
Yep. And I wholeheartedly agree with you about, getting the youth more involved, and especially like the scholastic aspect of it as well. Last year is my 3rd year as a high school bass fishing coach, and I love the experience, man. It is so much fun. The first year I did it, it was actually one of my subscribers. He was in his senior year, and it was him and his buddy were on the team. They were the only 2 kids on the team for 4 years. So the first year I had it was like super easy. Like, I kind of already knew them, and they were both like really great at school and stuff, and they just loved to fish on the side. So like doing that experience and kind of getting an icebreaker, like really with an easy step into it, was amazing. I love it, and I won't stop doing this until my schedule will not allow for it. And then the last 2 years, the kids, like the second year, we had 3 kids, so I had to do tryouts and everything, go through it, and like that scholastic aspect really kicked in from there. Because not only like was I talking to the athletic director about like, okay, grades wise, how they doing and stuff, but like I still have it, and I share it with other coaches when they ask it. I have a 10-page document I wrote up that's in my Google Drive that is like Bass Fishing 101, and it is the most like It's like the 50,000-foot overview of bass fishing. Like, these are needle nose pliers. This is a largemouth. This is small. But, like, that's what I was dealing with my second year. And, like, to see which kids were, like, taking it seriously for that aspect made it really easy to, like, okay, well, you're on the team. Like, skill level-wise, they're all the same. But, like, you're all doing really good in school. And you took that document I took the time to make. Like, you actually read it. You, like, I asked you questions, and you jumped on them. Same thing for last year. And it was great watching those kids go through all the teaching and stuff. And we had 2 good years the last 2 years. Last year was not this year. The previous year is the first time the school ever made it to the state championship, and they finished 8th out of 10th.
I think it was 8th.
Yeah, and then last year I got the team. The team got back to the state championship again, and they finished 7th out of 11th. Which when I say they're green, dude, they were green. Like, they like one kid showed up with a push button. And which is fine, but like, they're like, do you have a casting reel or a spinning? Oh, I got a casting. They show up with like a 4-foot like trout rod push button.
Oh yeah.
And all the other kids, like they literally only knew like Senkos in the middle of summer and fishing like 4-foot deep lily pads. Like that was it. And to take them and like Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, hey, I know you guys really are good with shallow water largemouth, but we're going to go Demiki rig in 55 feet of water for smallmouth now. Good luck. But like, talking through it and just watching it and dude, they did it 2 years in a row. I got these kids to go out there and hammer smallmouth on a tough lake. Tail end of spawn, as water temps really starting to come down. Like the year before was a little bit easier. We only had to go out to 45 feet, but last year I was 65 feet of water, and I was finding smelt balls like you wouldn't imagine out in 55 feet and smallmouth bombing them. And I figured out the Demiki bite, and I was like, all right, kids, I really hate to do this to you, but this is going to be one hell of a crash course learning experience. But, dude, one of the most rewarding things I've done, outside of anything I've done with my own family, my kids, I live for that. And I look forward to doing it every year. Yeah,
man, we're pretty pumped as a team. We're pretty much committed to supporting the Candlewood Fish Camp this summer on Champlain.
Oh yeah.
So we might be seeing you there that week, buddy. They reached out to us.
Time.
Yeah.
When I say might, we'll be there.
You want to go punch some mats?
Hell, dude, I want to do all kinds of stuff. I want to hang out with these kids, and foster this next generation of dreamers, man. So. Well, that's awesome. I know Zampezi's talking about coming up the same week I am, right after our Oneida event. Yep. Joe was talking about coming up the following week. I'll probably have to shoot down at ICAST for all of that shenanigans, unfortunately. But
yep.
Sweet, man. You guys just gave me a couple more reasons to look forward to it even more than I already had. So
that'd be fun. I mean,
a good time.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great time. Oh Jesus Christ! It's already 10 o'clock. All right. Was there one more question out of these from us that we want to get to, or should we just turn it over to the chat at this point?
I might just turn it over to them.
I kind of want to ask this just in case somebody else doesn't.
Go for it.
What's your favorite fishing memory? I know you've got thousands.
I've been really fortunate, man. I've had some pretty wild experiences through fishing, but these days, sharing these experiences and helping somebody else empower themselves and figure out how to catch these fish with a little bit of a nudge from me in whatever fashion has been really rewarding for me the last several years. Gosh, I'm trying to remember, man. There's just been so many crazy impactful moments, and I've been thankful to be a part of so many people's PBs. So how do I pick one person's PB over the other, and that experience? And I've had people crying in the boat, and just shell shocked and unable to say a word. And I've seen and experienced a lot of dope things through fishing. So I can't give you one. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It's all a favorite memory.
That in and of itself is a great answer. Anyway, the fact that you've had that many great memories that there isn't any one sticking out goes to show just how much time you've put on the water in your life, especially even the last 10 years.
I didn't really have much of a life, certain parts of my life. It was just fishing and, some basketball.
That sounds like the perfect life to me, dude.
Hey, brother, I ain't complaining.
All right, so one thing I did want to ask, and circling all the way back to the beginning where you said prior to you taking like that 2 years off, when you said you were just like hyper focused on fishing, how what on average, how many days a week were you fishing in that time?
Oh, every day off.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
or, at the time I was working in a coffee shop, so I worked like this super early 4 a.m. to noon shift.
Oh,
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
had an afternoon
Dude.
every day. So that's really what opened up my eyes to this peak activity level that's more consistent in the afternoons, in my opinion, than the low light early morning window.
Yep.
And frankly, I'd be more rested and I wouldn't be all burnt out from being super excited up the night before, and not get any sleep and just burn out after a day or two of it. Yeah, I fished quite a bit actually in those like mid 2000 years.
Yep. Nice. I was
Yeah.
just curious because prior to my wife and I having kids, like I've been fishing my whole life. I've been in a John boat since before I could walk and talk. Stupid things kids like sit in. They got the little wheels and you just kind of scoot yourself around the house.
My
My dad.
sister pushed me down the stairs in one.
That doesn't surprise me knowing your sister. my dad, I call him my uncle, but my dad's best friend, they had a 14-foot John boat. They put me down, in between like the aluminum risers that the seats were on, throw a bug net over me because they weren't going to let me slow them down from fishing. And I only knew how to like Texas rig until I was like 19 or 20. And that's when I was like, all right, I can't be doing this anymore. I need to learn. And that was like my jump off point.
Got
And
it.
then my dad bought a bass boat the year I graduated college, 2004. First time we had a bass boat. And he was barely using it, and he parked it at my house because he was living in an apartment. Like it was still relatively close to my parents divorcing. So he was like, just take it out, man. Go use it. Before I had kids, I was fishing minimum 3 days a week, upwards of 5 to 6 days a week for
Got it,
3.5
yeah.
years.
Sick.
I would not be where I am now for my base of knowledge if I didn't have that 3-year window of being able to fish that much. I unlocked so much knowledge because bassresource.com was huge for me. I was reading everything I could get my hands on that.
Yeah.
And then searching beyond that when I found something like, I want to learn how to shaky head. Like, that sounds
Right.
awesome. And then go out and like call my buddy up like, all right, we're going out to this pond. We're going to fish a shaky head. The fuck's a shaky head? Don't worry about it. I got everything. And, for the next like 5 or 6 days over the course of a week and a half, we just fished a shaky head. Like, yeah, dude, we got that down. That's awesome. All right.
Hell yeah.
What's next on the list?
Yep. I mean, me and my group of guys growing up, we kind of did the same thing every summer. Like
Yep.
one year it was a medium diving crankbait. The next year it was topwater fishing. The next year it was a soft super fluke. Like we just try to embrace all of these new ways to catch a bass.
I'm still adding new things every year.
Every year.
Man,
Because so much
the
stuff coming out.
industry is creating new ways to catch them every single year. It's crazy how much crap I got in that boat right now.
Oh, yeah.
But it's beautiful because, like, gosh, man, like there's just so much potential, right? Like it could be this bait, it could be this bait the next day, and then there could be days like today where like it wasn't the bait necessarily, it's how you fish the bait.
Right.
Right.
9 times out of 10 it is.
Yep.
Totally.
All right. So at this point, I do want to turn it over to the chat and get some people's questions in here. Matt, you had asked a question earlier about moon phases that I know you want to throw at Oliver. So come back to that, please, because there's been like 1,000 comments since you last put that, and I can't find it. But until then, I'll go with a question that Oliver, I know you've probably been asked 1,000 times.
Yeah, man, and I know your viewers probably won't like this response, but it's something I don't normally dive too deep into. It's some observations I've been able to make over my career that I feel like are impactful to my fishing. I share that kind of stuff with my Patreon supporters.
Yeah.
That's the only place I talk about it.
That's fine.
You got to pay for it. Head over there. Pay the man.
Yeah, gosh, we give up so much of the juice, so much of it. There are certain things I got to keep close to my chest.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the vast majority of people can absolutely understand and respect that. And the people that can't, well, they're not worth any of our time.
Because even now, like, dude, I could be, giving the goods up to one of the 224 dudes I'm trying to beat the pants out of, like Joe LaBarber or Mike Zampese. Just,
You don't got to worry about Mike.
Mike's just going to throw a jig.
It's just it's a tough one. Like I want everybody to succeed, but I also got to, give myself the best shot I can at winning too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. My buddy Steve, Team Beef Master. I'll throw it up there. He actually moved out to California for a few years and apparently lived on the same street as Paul at Piz.
Oh, okay.
They became friends like right about that transition where Paul started, because I remember when
Oh,
Piz
Steve,
was doing
yeah.
custom painted crankbaits on Bassboat Central.
I
And then
still
he-
have some at the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So, other than Casitas, what's your favorite SoCal lake?
man, all of them really. I mean, they're especially now that I spend so much time away from Southern California, they all feel like home because I've spent a ton of time on those bodies of water because for a long time or a large portion of my life, like driving beyond an hour was like an adventure, like it is coming to Florida or coming to, Vermont or whatever. Like seriously, like, that was like pushing way beyond my comfort zone, and finding the gas money to actually pay for stuff like that. Like that was a struggle back then. So to come back home and revisit any of them is dope. Like Pudding Stone is obviously one of my favorites because that was the lake I cut my teeth on. And it was always a historically tough lake to catch fish on. So I took a lot of pride in being able to catch them there.
Yep. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Damian Swider asked, what are your go-to jerkbait colors?
Oh gosh. All top 20?
Just go with the top 3. We'll be here all night.
Gosh, top 3. That's a tough one too. I'm HT Ito Wagasaki, Sexy French Pearl. Gosh, what would be the third one if I had to pick a third one?
You have to.
Pro Blue.
Yeah, my guy, dude.
dog.
Especially up here in the Northeast, like I don't know. I feel like we're fortunate that we don't have to get too crazy on color combos and still have like really successful days.
Yeah, your fish is kind of dumb.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, dude. In New Hampshire alone, we have 650 bodies of water with public boat ramps. There's a lot of lakes that we fish that have like zero pressure.
We
You
got
literally
like,
throw anything in front of them, like, oh yeah,
yeah, we got like 20 in Southern California.
right. Now, in all fairness, out of those 650 New Hampshire that are publicly accessible, probably 500 of them are like less than 100 acres.
Okay.
They're all puddles. They're all kettle ponds.
And barely accessible.
And barely accessible. Dude, 4-wheel drive up here is really important.
Yeah, so you can push your boat and pull it out of the mud.
Right? But you look at a good boat launch up here, you're like, oh, this one actually has some pavement left.
My first Tundra was a 2007 limited crew cab with 2-wheel drive because everything is developed in California. Like everything. Like I didn't even need 4-wheel ever in California. And I took that thing on the White Road Adventure, which is a series we did on YouTube, and going across the northern band from Oregon through Idaho, through Montana into South Dakota. And I launched on this dirt gravel ramp in South Dakota and we got stuck.
Oh, no.
We had to use the Verado to push everything like up off the freaking ramp with this 2-wheel drive truck. And I'm like, dude, I got to get a 4-wheel drive. Like that was nuts. And I don't know what the hell happened to the video of that, but like that was a struggle.
I bet. Yeah, we almost lost my truck and boat last year fishing Candlewood Lake in Connecticut, which highly recommend.
I've been there.
Yeah, no, dude, it was.
Yeah, launches like this.
That was,
and it's all ice.
yeah, it's tall hill, and we got there. I mean, it's 196 miles from my house, so we got there late, right? I mean, it was like 3.5 hour, 3 to 4,
7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and there was already like 6 boats there. So then pulling out and everything, it was only like 25 degrees, so it was just a sheet of ice. And I'm going down, and I'm like, we were playing out like, okay, if you go all the way over here, there's some dirt, you catch tires, you'll be good. I know, I already had it 4-wheel, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. The moment I start sliding, I'm gonna throw it in drive and stomp on it and just pray I stop, which I had to do, and it did.
Fly off the trailer.
Yeah.
Dude, shit was nuts.
Anyway. So any bass addict did ask, big baits for smallmouth versus largemouth. Is there a different approach you take for smallies? And again, like I know with your Patreon and everything, if it's something you don't want to touch, by all means, totally understand.
Yeah. Dude, there's so much info there that I go deep dive into that I don't talk about on like the more popular platforms like our YouTube or Instagram or whatever. But smallmouth and big baits, I've had a lot of success, but I've also had a lot of heartbreak because of the nature of those northern smallies, especially in their small heads and mouths and deep, tall and wide frames and their athletic ability. Like getting a
Two.
hook into their face is a struggle, and then keeping it there is a struggle. It's not
Any
like a
kind of
largemouth.
hook.
Yeah, I can't overpower them like a largemouth, like I described earlier. There's no big bucket to use against them.
Nope.
So, having to throw a much softer rod and learn to kind of ease up on them a little bit and just hope that they stay on was a big adjustment. But I definitely still utilize the big bait. I mean, we've caught smallmouth on 8-inch mag drafts, I slide 262s, depth stoops, like big baits. It's no question that they'll try to eat them, but I feel like there's a lot of scenarios where I'd much rather find a more solid hookup point and keep that single hook pinned in its face so I land that fish.
Mm.
Yep.
As much as I love swim bait fishing, like I love catching the fish, no matter how I got to do it. And especially with trophy fish, it just so happens with largemouth, especially a big bait is my best option to realize that big bass stream. But with smallmouth, it's kind of 50-50. Like, at that St. Lawrence event, I experimented with big baits and got them to eat it. But my hookup percentage and my landing percentage weren't what I wanted them to be. So I actually ditched them for the tournament. I didn't even throw it one cast.
Yeah, we both lost our PB Smalley on just traditional tackle, and it's just tough up there.
Dude,
yeah.
Fuck that. No, I'm kidding. So the first time we went was 2019, and do you remember how high the water got there? It was literally the highest it had ever been in recorded history.
It's like 5 feet over or something like that.
Yeah, I remember because I was on a different Great Lake, and I was like, dude, what is up with all this water?
Yeah.
It was like 4 feet high or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 or 5 feet high, something like that. Yeah.
We got there, and we were supposed to do this with like a bunch of other people, like the Bass and Pandas in the chat. He's over in Southern California. He was supposed to fly out too, and like we were all supposed to meet up. So we planned this back in January, and everything was locked in and paid. So we get there at the end of August, and the water is only 1 foot lower than the highest it had ever been in recorded history, and we're talking to friends that we know that are local area. We're talking to locals there every day we out the water, and everybody's like, dude, we have no idea what's going on. Good luck. Like, great.
We were talking to a lot of people. Just be like, help.
Yeah, because like, it's just a totally different animal, especially for us. It's like, how do you break down? Like the best example I can put, one of my favorite lakes in New Hampshire is Newfound Lake. Beautiful smallmouth lake, nice deep glacial lake. It's 4,100 acres. Chamois Bay alone is 9,000 acres. It's like, it took me, and Newfound, granted, is kind of a tough lake anyway. It's weird, but it took me like 6 years before I finally figured that lake out. And I'm like, okay, fuck, now I gotta break down something more than twice the size in 7 days. And that's just the bay.
Yeah, man.
We both lost giants the beginning and the tail end of that. And then we went back in 2020. And it was right at the tail end of that freaking crazy heat wave. So I am out past Stone Island, right? We're a mile offshore past Stone Island in Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
And the water temp is still 80 degrees.
Yep.
That was mind-blowing. And it was struggle fest. And I swear to God, he lost a 6-pounder on the spy bait. But anyway.
There's a lot of those, man. Those fish are some of the most athletic fish I've ever targeted or fought or landed. I hooked a 7-2 on Lake Ontario, and I watched this thing eat an Ito Shiner jerkbait, Kahoku reaction, if you wanted to know. And I'm ripping this jerkbait pretty shallow, and I see this just flash, right, big brown flash, and this thing eats it. And I'm throwing it on a flat side special, which is a pretty powerful like treble hook rod from the Orochi line. This is generation 1. We got like a 50-pound braid to a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I fish a pretty heavy drag. Dude, and I hook into this thing, and I fight this thing for 2.5 minutes with this drag where I'm like, oh crap, did I set the drag? Because this thing is just taking line, right? And I'm just like, oh crap, I did set the drag.
Oh no.
Just, like kicking my ass, and we get it in the boat, but I've never had a bass pull that hard on any kind of tackle. And that's still my PB to this day. But those
7-2?
Yeah, it's a 7-2 fall fish. I lost one that was 7 plus because I've put clients on like 4 or 5, 7 pluses.
Damn.
Wow.
And I lost one on the second day of the St. Lawrence after dumping 4 big ones between 5.25 to 6.5 pounds already. So I was already mentally like just over it, right? And I hooked this giant brown smallmouth.
Come
And I
on.
could feel my rod bending like below the reel seat. And I've
Jeez.
never felt that before. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is this thing? And I get it to the boat. And once again, like man, the strength of that fish and all of those fish in that system is crazy. It's unlike anything else. Like even Riley, like she was taken aback by like how strong they were. Like, yeah, these guys are different.
Yeah, they're
Dude,
built different.
There it is. Thank you. You beat me to it. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the first trip we did out there, the first full day we had was the only day there was no wind. So we made that 20-mile run out to Maine Duck Island. And
Nice.
that was an
No.
experience. And
Not
An experience when it's nice.
Right.
You know, day one of the tournament, it was 30 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds or some crap.
No.
And I made a 45-mile run in my first spot, and it was not fun.
no,
Like,
I
dude,
couldn't even imagine that.
but,
Ugh.
that
Gonna
day we
throw up.
went out, I hooked one that I fought that for like 3 minutes before it came unpinned, and we got a quick glimpse at it. We knew it was giant, and then
that's
the
a
last
long
trip,
time to be pulling on a bass. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
Very long time.
was a long time, and there's nothing you can do at that point. Like, you have to let
Well.
this thing wear itself out.
Have fun.
right? And then the same deal, 2020. For that trip, we were fishing off
Alone-
Grenadier Island
A lone boulder.
Okay.
in Lake Ontario, and we'd found it the other day. It was this like perfect spot, right? Like it's that long tapered point, and then there's one sharp drop off on the side, and there's a big boulder set right on the transition. And watching at 360, it took me like 5 or 6 casts to get on it, and all of a sudden, finally, thunk and drop shot. And I looked at him like, "Yep, dude, this is it. Like this is it." And I'm pulling, and I'm like, "Okay, you can come up now." And she wouldn't move. And it's a light duty drop shot rod. So I'm like, I looked at him, I was like, I don't know what to do, man. I was like, all right, I'm gonna back the drag off. And I let her run a little bit. And I cinched it down a little bit. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can try and move her. And my hand never moved. Like it just kept bending. I'm like, never mind, back the drag way off. I'm like, we're gonna be here for a while. And I fought that one for another 3 minutes. We saw it once. It got within about
I didn't even see it.
I think it got like
saw
15 feet to the
flash.
surface, and I got a quick glimpse of it. I was like, oh my god, that's
See,
it.
that's-
Like
Experiences like that, especially in my youth, where I was very finesse oriented, very light line, like 5-pound Maxima Ultra Green. Like I'd throw a Texas rig on 6-pound just to get more bite and all that, and only to finally connect with the one, or what we think is the one, and get cornholed and pwned. Like I just got tired of that, man. So now my philosophy is I'd rather not even get bit, because when I do get bit, I land the vast majority of them now.
and
Yeah, I
that's
want to rip his freaking mouth off. You're getting in this boat.
Yeah, seriously.
And a boat flip the shit out of you.
yeah, and it's a great point. Like you know what? I can't, and I don't think about the fish I'm not even getting bit by, because I'm not on super light line. Doesn't matter to me. I still do great with slightly heavier line. I won't go lower than 8-pound on my drop shot, because I tried 6-pound once and I had a terrible time. And I don't know if it was just really just inexperience at the time, or if it was a bad spool of line or whatever. But dude, my confidence was shot. I go back to 8-pound. I'm like, it's like people are still trying to convince me, like, oh, you fish Tatsu, you should go down to 8, from 8 to 6. It's 1,000th of an inch difference.
Yeah, man.
But I would still break my fish off.
Line forever. Like I
yeah.
got so many of my own experiences about fishing line specifically. Like that's a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Another question from any bass addict. What goes through your mind when switching from conventional to swim baits, or vice versa, in a tournament?
That's a great question. And really it comes down to all of my previous experiences, and really being able to recognize my windows of opportunity to catch them on that big bait, because obviously it's going to hopefully engage with a larger than average fish, which plays a pretty important role in these, combined weight format tournaments.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I'm the best out of the competing fields at that, and understanding when to pick it up, and also more importantly, when to put it down. Because I also caught plenty of fish throughout the season on standard baits, and I feel like I'm very adept at pretty much every fundamental style of bass fishing because I've been doing it for so long.
Yep.
And my fundamental bass fishing experience is really what has set me up for my success through the big baits, because there are so many parallels that I utilize in just a bigger scale to accomplish a lot of the same types of reactions and employ the same type of mechanics to land those fish. It all comes back to the traditional stuff. So honestly, I approached my tournament season last year trying to figure out how to catch a consistent, solid bag, depending on what the fishery was first, and counted on me being able to figure out those windows of opportunity and locate those fish during the tournament, because I didn't want to sting them or catch them in practice, because that wouldn't do me any good, right?
Yep.
But what I was finding was when I finally did pick up a big bait during these windows of opportunity during competition, like, holy crap, I was able to stumble on these class of fish that would have helped me win way quicker. And it's like, oh shit, maybe I should have practiced with a big bait. So that sets me up for extreme failure here in 2022 to kick off the year, because I gave myself 2.5, 3 weeks to come learn this massive Kissimmee chain of lakes and actually reverse engineer what I did last year. And I was just going to come swinging every big bait I had to hopefully locate and figure out the subtle locations where I can target these bigger fish. Because, like, dude, I want to weigh a 30 to 50 pound bag in a Bassmaster event. I do.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is one of those fisheries that affords that potential.
Oh yeah.
And man, the weather has just been kicking my ass. Like, just straight kick to the nuts every morning when I'm waking up and there's frost on the grass and the boat cover's frozen. It's just like, dude, these Florida don't even like, a 50-degree air temp drop. Like,
No.
this is brutal. And it sucks because it was all for naught. Yeah, man. Like, these Florida fish are fair weather.
Very fair weather.
Oh,
It was all for naught anyway, because I didn't even end up getting in the tournament.
Right.
But the game plan this year was actually to go look for big fish and then catch the much more numerous smaller 2 to 5 pound fish to hopefully fill out a bag. So it's a complex strategy, and like you guys said, man, it's an ever-changing puzzle.
Yep.
There is no definitive answer for any of it. Every circumstance is different. Every fishery is different. Fish behavior is different from body of water to body of water. I got to go out there and just try. I mean, and try to suck as least as I can. And in that regard, I failed miserably last year.
I feel like that's what everyone tries to do, though.
I don't know, man. I feel like some of these
they
guys
can.
try to suck.
Big Bass Dreams is asking you a question.
Oh god.
Where was it? Oh,
The lake.
Oh yeah. Wow. Jeez, I haven't even gotten that far down yet.
Oh.
Castaic or Clear Lake?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake. There you go.
Castaic's been dead as a good bass fishery for 20 years.
Nice.
I want to go to Clear Lake.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to go to Clear Lake too. Actually, one of our friends works with the Coast Guard, or is enlisted in the Coast Guard, and lived one town over from us here in New Hampshire, and just got a promotion and restationed an hour or an hour and a half, I think he said, from Clear Lake. But he doesn't
Sweet.
have a bass boat anymore. He had to sell it when he made the move because the house they have, yada, yada, yada. They had a lot of issues. So he texts me every week and he's like, dude, you know how much it sucks trying to fish that lake from a kayak? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's our biggest lake. I mean, it's a 25-minute run north to south.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I forgot how many acres it was, but I mean, it's for us, it's essential.
Yep.
Damn.
So the Bass and Panda asked, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. window for big bass. Fairly true?
Very true.
I didn't
For
buy that.
big bass, for
Yeah.
big one, like the biggest in your system, they're probably going to eat during that window.
My PB 2 years ago, I was pre-fishing for my high school kids for their tournament in an area that I'd never been to. And, I was trying to find new smallmouth spots. And I'm like, all right, it's getting kind of late. I got to be home for my kids before my wife goes to work. She works evenings. It was beautiful fall day, bluebird skies, not a tickle of wind, and just, I forget what. It was very comfortably warm for that late in the year. And I was like, I got 20 minutes. I'm going to run to my spot and I'm going to fish. And it was underneath the bridge. I go under the bridge. I'm marking, fish and like everything crazy. I come back under and I just saw something in my peripheral. I looked down and I saw this fucking fat fish come up, scoop up a little fish and just bomb back down. I'm like, oh my God. Get the boat back out from under the bridge. I turned around, a spot locked, probably as far away as I could. I knew I could get back under the bridge, and I fished. I got the whole thing. I was filming that day. I think it was like 16 minutes from the moment I saw the fish, and I caught her. And that was the most mind-blowing experience to be able to like see the biggest fish I've ever seen in my life, and then catch the damn thing finally. Blew my previous PB out of the water, but it was at 1:45 in the afternoon. And in conditions I never would have thought that I would catch a giant fish like that. I've always been conditioned like,
mine at like
early
10
morning or
o'clock.
midnight.
Right.
That's right. Yours and his was special because we literally snowblowed the boat launch 4 days before we went to fish so that we knew we would be cleared we could fish. And he caught a 7-pound, 7-ounce largemouth at like 10:30 in the morning or something like that.
On March with snow all over the place.
Yeah, there's like a half a foot of snow still covering everything
On a
else.
30-acre pond.
I've said it before, man. I will say it again. Like, I tell all of my friends that we are soft and unworthy of calling ourselves passionate bass anglers because all you dudes in the north love bass fishing way more than any of us. And that suckfest hanging out with Ike and Ellie and Brian the Carpenter for that week in Jersey last year was just a dark, like, firsthand experience of like, how the hell do you make these things bite in 37-degree water? Like,
Well,
I don't
Shelby,
know.
if you want to come
I've
with
never
us.
seen it before.
You want to catch a 5-pound smallie next year?
Yeah, come on up. Wait, he's in the 6 and 7 pound class. He doesn't give a shit about our
Okay,
fives.
well, a New Hampshire 5 or a New England 5-pounder. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we got to go to Vermont for really quality smallmouth. There's still a lot of good smallmouth fishing in New Hampshire, but if you want to catch the 5-pound plus like consistently, you got to go to Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, there's a couple more questions I do want to get to because I know it's getting late too. Brian Ernest did ask if you could only fish with one lure for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus.
Man, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. Next.
Right?
I mean, depending on what my goal is, right? Do I need to feed myself? Am I just looking for straight entertainment value? I mean, you can't just pick one.
No.
I don't have enough context.
I could pick one. I would say a jig. I can make a jig work from ice out to ice in, smallmouth or largemouth, clear water, dirty water, doesn't matter. I can catch fish on a jig in literally any conditions. So if I had to pick one for the rest of my life, I'm
What are you
just
going to do
picking
when you
up.
break it off?
Huh? Oh, well, I'm assuming I get to get a lot.
You only
of
get
them.
one.
I get a lot of that one.
And then I'm
though.
fishing it on light duty steel leader.
You know a pickerel's going to get it.
Oh, every time.
Oh, man.
Every nice thing I've ever had has been ruined by pickerel.
What'd you call him?
Dude, there's
What,
a
that
bunch
guy
of them
earlier?
here in Florida. There's a
Oh,
bunch
yeah?
of them. Also, my buddy Dave caught like 20 of them on the first day of the open.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I knew they were down here. I didn't know there was like 20 of them in a day worth. Like, good grief.
I didn't know that either.
I honestly didn't even think that they would be down there for some reason. I thought they'd
Yeah.
be happier up here in the colder water.
I'm pretty sure they're chain pickerel.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Hmm.
I don't like it.
Dude, those bastards, especially right now. Yeah, slime darts. That's what we call them. Especially like right after ice out, they're at their happiest.
Oh, but that's when they taste the best.
Apparently if you know how to flay them, they're delicious.
They're amazing.
I love eating northern pike, like not the big ones, like anything over like 30 inches or so. I don't really
Right.
like eating anymore. But like those sub 30s, dude, I'll eat those all day.
They're so good.
And I've always kind of suspected that chain pickerel were good too. I mean, they're in the same family.
They pretty much taste the same.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
did
they're
learn
really
how
good.
to actually cut those Y bones out. It's really not that big a deal, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, sweet.
I'm trying to write in the chat at the same time, so I'll pull this up. I'll let you read that so I can type in the chat.
Which one? Do you?
Oh, sorry.
I can't read it if you scroll.
I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Go ahead.
Do you believe the lack of trout plants all over SoCal has eventually led to SoCal being not a top-notch double-digit bass area as opposed to Texas and Florida?
Eventually, it's that way now. It's been that way. And that's definitely a huge part of that equation. I mean, dude, when I was growing up, every little city park lake, including Pudding Stone, was getting bi-monthly stocks of trout. and on the low end they're like 14 to 1,600 pounds in like a
Bi-monthly?
bi-monthly.
We get
So
them one, maybe twice a year.
dude, I'm telling you, like we used to
That's
catch
insane.
a lot of trout as kids. And byproduct of that was these fish just gorged themselves on these things.
Yeah,
And
yep.
the amount of big fish that these Southern California lakes were able to support was mind-boggling. And even back then, they weren't really even being scratched at because they were so hyper-focused on those big meals. But like now, as the past Bass and Panda has alluded to, a lot of that has changed. A lot of these lakes don't get any, including my home lake. And those numbers of fish aren't there anymore. You can still catch them on it, but it's probably harder now than it's ever been on top of all the pressure and the popularity of big bait, swim bait fishing. Those fish have been conditioned.
It'd probably be like taking the gobies out of the St. Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem though, right? You have a culture of bass that are accustomed to feeding on this food source, and you take that away. Well, some of them can't pivot. Eating
Right.
sunfish or shad isn't enough. So they have to relearn how to feed again.
And then they just can't keep up.
And I mean, Lake Casitas is a perfect example of that. The things that I've seen on that lake, I've never seen since. You know, that population of fish aged out, trout plants stopped, and now it's a good tournament lake, you know, 15 to 20, 22 pounds. But dude, back in the day, you'd fish a night tournament, and if you brought in 40 pounds, you didn't necessarily win.
What the?
That's insane.
Yes. That doesn't happen anywhere anymore.
No.
That's just depressing because
It-
we'll
it-
never
it
see
is
that
so
here.
depressing because, I mean, dude, like a lot of that stuff was out of reach for me as a young kid, right? I didn't have a lot of tackle. I definitely didn't have access to a boat or a network of people that could put me in an opportunity to take advantage of those situations. And what I've come to learn over my years is that it's never going to be as good as it is now. So take advantage of it now, no matter how much you think it sucks. Because back then we thought it sucked.
Well, it didn't.
I mean, judging off of our, catch rates, it did. But
Yeah.
it's all relative. And now look at places like Texas and the live scope revolution. Those guys are hammering double digits like it's going out of style.
Oh my god, dude! What
Because
Milliken
now
is
they're
doing
finding-
down
now
there
they
is
know
insane.
where they are now.
I should have never showed Ben live scope.
So it's your fault.
Yeah, he came out trying to catch a big one on Lake Berryessa with me in Northern California, and I was like, "Oh wait, I found a school of 2.5 pound crappie. Let's just do this."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh crap, is that your jig?" I'm like, "Oh yep, you see that crappie coming up and eating it? Oh, there you go." I was like, "All right, I'm buying live scope."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Live scope's awesome. Though I did go back to the St. Lawrence one day last year, and I went with my buddy in his boat. It's like 350 miles from my house. I left at 12:30 in the morning, got there at 8. We fished till like 6, slept for a few hours, fished like 7 to 2 the next day. Back on the road. I was back at my house at like 11:45. To the St. Lawrence River and back 700 miles in less than 48 hours. But it was totally worth it. It was great. But so he had live scope in his boat, and he was like, "Oh, dude, check it out." He's looking at a rock like 40 feet away. Takes his drop shot and watches it down. He's like, "Oh my god, it's gonna hit it!" And it was the funniest thing watching that drop shot where he just pegged that fish on the head and just watch it blast out of the rock. We were dying. It's crazy how dialed in you can get on that.
it's wild technology. I've gotten pretty good at dropping baits on fish like that too. But if more than anything, it's just a new way to ingest way more information than we were ever privy to in the past, and it makes me more efficient in my decision making.
Oh, absolutely.
People tend to be so hyper focused on the actual, like being able to see a fish engage with your bait and eat it. Like, dude, that's just one aspect of it. And frankly, there still isn't a button that makes them bite. Like, otherwise I would have won every one of those, opens last year.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. Just another ever changing piece to the puzzle, and we all got to adapt, because I guarantee you those fish are going to adapt.
Yes, they are. Especially
always
those
do.
offshore fish that have been hiding all this time.
Yeah.
They can't hide now.
Yep. It's going to
Crazy.
change their behavior.
Yep.
They're gonna start making tunnels.
Yes.
Fuck you, human.
So, Matthew asked, do you think water conditions really matter in catching fish on big baits? Like it does have to be, does it have to be some perfect situation like some other people describe when catching fish on big baits?
Yes. No. It's just like any other bait, right? Like everything is situational. And how would you know unless you tried?
Right.
I mean, I don't need clear water. I don't mind dirty water. I prefer the wind for certain things. I prefer clear water, calm water for other things. So don't let these people put these weird preconceived notions in your head. Just go out there with somewhat of an open mind and experiment. Try it. I've caught them in mud water on baits that people say it only works in clear water, when usually the case is those anglers need the clear water to validate that fish are somewhat interested in their crappy presentation, because it kind of followed it halfway to the boat.
I love it.
Like, you think that fish is going to starve because it
No.
can't catch your freaking wonky, plastic fish?
Hell no.
You ever try catching a minnow with your hands?
Yes.
Get out of here with that. Yeah, man. Like,
I
come
used to
on.
catch trout at the hatchery with my hands.
Oh my God.
Edit.
Delete that.
All right, tell you what, you have been an amazing guest. I'll throw one more at you that just came in on the chat, and we'll cut you loose because I know it's getting late.
Cool, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so Damon asked, which tournament are you looking forward to the most this season? I'm pretty sure it's going to be the St. Lawrence.
No, honestly, it's the first one, the James.
All right.
Yeah, first Northern Bassmaster Open. I think I can win that bitch. So
Hell yeah,
You
man.
better.
it's
I'll
got
give you a virtual high five if you do.
hey, brother, I'll take it. I had an incredible practice, and that's a fishery that I went into last year, not expecting much. Like, it just sounded like everybody that I knew had a terrible time there. And I found through practice, I was having a blast. Like, holy crap, these things are big. They're eating the things I'm throwing at them. Like, this is beautiful. I learned some things through that tournament itself. And after I went back to shoot some other pieces, but like just seeing how things laid out, with the tides and seeing different tides in certain areas set them up completely different than I realized. So I felt good about my chances last year. I feel amazing about my chances this year. So hopefully I can execute and not suck. And hopefully I can still get these fish to react, open their mouths on these hooks, and get them into their face this time. It's a live well. I just have to do it 15 times in 3 days. Like, I've done crazier things. I had 15 bites on the big bait today.
Just tell me you got a pool up on the deck.
Oh,
Just jump right in.
it's not that far off. It is a Vexus. I mean,
Right. Dude, that boat is fucking massive.
dude, it's so big. I got stuck on a mud flat actually at one point during day one. I was like,
Oh,
This
no.
Oh no.
this is bad. Like,
Yeah.
when I go off,
You got your doors blown off by that mud boat?
Dude, that was hilarious.
Florida, man, these motherfuckers are crazy.
I was just down there, a month ago?
That was December, right? It was right at Christmas.
Christmas. I was down there for Christmas.
Yeah.
We went out on an airboat, and dude, that was gnarly.
I was
That
like,
was-
dude, good on you, man. Like, I wish I could do that. I'm totally envious of you right now, because it took me like 2 hours to idle down to this crappy swamp hole.
Jeez.
Oh, God.
And it is gone. Like,
Yeah, dude, those dudes don't give a shit down there.
No.
they don't care,
At
man.
all.
Cool. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
So, all right. At this point, we'll call it quits. Like I said, you've been a gracious guest, man. I cannot thank you enough for coming on to the show tonight and talking with us. There was one question I did want to cover, but we'll have you on another time. We can cover it. I wanted to do a little bit more New England specific questions for when you have been up here, but we'll cover another time. It's late. A lot of people are dipping out. I know you've had a long day. We've had long days. It's a good point.
Word.
So go ahead, take a moment, man. The stage is yours. Tell everybody pretty much knows about you anyway, but doesn't matter. Go ahead and reiterate everything that you have going on, what you want people to check out, the whole 9 yards.
Sure. First and foremost, big shout out to all you guys in the Northeast, man. Like, that part of the country has been such an integral part of the big bass streams movement since 10 years ago. And ever be grateful to that part of the country. You guys, like I said, are the sickest in the head when it comes to bass fishing, and I
Yes, we are.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate that highly. And look to the Big Bass Streams platforms, including the website, where we've got a lot of contribution coming from a team of hammers with a lot of relevant content that's going to impact everybody from the super green high school kids of yours
Oh,
all
yeah.
the way to the guys trying to beat the pants off of Joe, Mike, and myself. And we really just want to share the stoke and show that fishing is dope, because I mean we're having the time of our lives, and it should be everybody's opportunity to live life through fishing like we have. So stay tuned. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on, man. It's been a blast.
Absolutely, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming on.
Absolutely. And then, so for the people asking in the chat, it's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time for the Big Bass Streams live stream.
Yes, sir. Every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on Big Bass Streams YouTube channel.
There you go. I'll be there.
We always raffle off a prize for people that donate to the channel, because it helps support, everything that we're doing. So tomorrow we're gonna be doing like this big Bass Streams care package, probably a hat. I'm thinking like the $100 puff jacket, maybe our custom weigh-in bag for weighing your PB safely. We'll make it worth your while every time, on top of all the info that we discuss. So
Nice.
see you guys tomorrow night. And I think tomorrow's guest is going to be Riley Colich, who just fished her very first Bassmaster Open and had a heck of a day 2 rally. So looking forward to hearing her perspective as a first-time competitor on a pretty big, intimidating stage.
Oh, yeah.
And man, she brought it on day 2. I mean, she had 3
Oh,
for 613, 2 pounds out of her first check, and jumped off a 3 or 4 pounder on day 1. That would have easily helped her do that. But
Yeah.
it's all part of the learning, right? You gotta embrace the suck and the near
Always.
misses as fishermen, man, because it's never going to stop.
No, you're absolutely right about
It's
that.
always going to suck.
Suck is what really gives you perspective on the wins, right? And
Oh, yeah.
it's like, oh, this is the opposite of that sucky day. Like, this is
Right.
amazing.
Even just a check is fine.
Right? Yeah. Just getting in the money is always good.
Dude, getting that first fish in the live well is always just like,
Yes. All right, 4 more.
sorry, I'm not thinking today. Like,
It's like
All right.
you're yeah, skunk's out. All right, everybody's good. It's not going to completely suck ass today.
could be worse.
Yeah. All right, Oliver. Thank you very much again, man. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you back on at some point, and we can talk a little bit more about big bait fishing up here in the Northeast a lot too, because I know that we have a lot of guys up here. Like you said, it's a huge scene up here. So
Yeah.
to be able to elaborate on that and everything, I know a lot of people would appreciate it. So
Cool, brother. Looking
hopefully we
forward.
can make it happen, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, bud.
Thank you, man. All right, everybody else in the chat, have a great night. We will see you next. Oh, this is your job.
That's my
Sorry.
fault.
I'm sorry. I overstepped
Every
my
Wednesday.
bounds.
Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. See you guys there. See you next week.
Have a great night, everybody.